I'm pretending to cultivate immortality in kindergarten. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 351 Bedroom. Jiang Jingxi, curled up in Lin Sihengren's arms, bit her lips with her long hair draped over her shoulders. The three little ones turned their heads to look at Lin Sihengren in the middle after hearing this. After looking at each other, in this quiet and dark bedroom, they turned around and leaned on Lin Sihengren. "It's a bit crowded," said little He Qing. Lin Sihengren observed everyone. "He Qing, when you come on me and lean down a little, Jingxi and Lily go up a little, so that you can all be hugged by me." After a simple adjustment, everyone became like a tree, and Lin Sihengren was the tree. The four girls were like four sloths hanging on him. Inexplicably, Jiang Jingxi suddenly laughed. "In the future, are we going to sleep like this every night?" Jiang Zuli said in a cute voice. "This is fine for the four of us. Anyway, holding Sihengren is like holding a doll, but Sihengren's body will be numb if he sleeps too much, right? He can't move at all in this state." Han Wenwen and little He Qing rested their heads on Lin Sihengren's chest. Little He Qing looked up. "Lin Sihengren, can you sleep like this? You can't move at all, like a wooden man." Lin Sihengren saw the reality clearly. "No way, there are gains and losses. Who made me want four girlfriends? It's numb, but it's still okay to sleep. You four are not heavy, it's just like that when you press on me. In fact, it's not numb." Lin Sihengren's physique is different from ordinary people. Each of the four women weighs only 100 pounds, and they are not all on his body. It's easy to hold them. However, Lin Sihengren explained, "And we don't have to sleep like this every day in the future. I hugged you four tonight to say that since we will live together in the future, you can be more casual in bed and sleep however you want. You don't have to lie there obediently like you did just now," he added. "After all, I have seen how you look when you fall asleep with my own eyes. Obviously, none of you will sleep obediently. Even He Qing, who has always been obedient, will get into my arms after falling asleep. Don't restrain yourself." Hearing this, little He Qing, who was resting on her belly, shyly buried her face in Lin Sihengren's belly. Han Wenwen asked, "So what does Brother Sihengren mean is that we can do whatever we want?" "Well, just be casual," Han Wenwen said, and after getting consent, she suddenly opened her fox mouth and bit Lin Sihengren's belly. Everyone else saw this scene, and Lin Sihengren also looked at the fox. "What are you doing, Wenwen?" Han Wenwen said jealously. "Nothing. Didn't Brother Sihengren tell us to be more casual? While Brother Sihengren can't move like this, then I will be more casual. I just want to try it." After she said that, she even seduced Xiao Heqing. "Xiao Qingqing, do you want to try to bite Brother Sihengren's belly? It's fun. Anyway, Brother Sihengren can't move now." Xiao Heqing heard it and looked at Han Wenwen with red eyes. She didn't know whether it was fun or not, but she did have such an idea. After all, it was right next to her mouth. So she bit Lin Sihengren's belly on the other side as if possessed by a ghost. Lin Sihengren was speechless. Jiang Zuli saw that the two sisters were doing something inexplicable, and she asked in confusion, "What are you two doing?" But after that, she also bit Lin Sihengren's ear. "Let me try." Jiang Jingxi's heartbeat accelerated, and she said gently, "Zhang Zhen. Then I will do whatever I want." After that, she first bit Lin Sihengren's ear. Then she bit Lin Sihengren's neck. Lin Sihengren didn't understand what these four guys were doing at all. 3, 2, 1, the four girls shut up. Lin Sihengren sighed, "Don't make trouble for no reason, otherwise I can't sleep, and you all don't sleep tonight." The four people's cheeks were hot. Knowing what this meant, they really didn't dare to make trouble again. "Lin Sihengren, come and learn from me." "Good night," everyone said in unison. Good night. The first night together, at least it was spent peacefully. But don't think that everyone's position is very regular when sleeping. In fact, when they woke up the next morning, the four girls were in different postures. But they slept quite soundly lying on someone. After a few days, the five of them slept together just like that night. The first night was a little restrained, the second night was a little accustomed, and from the third night on, the four girls gradually began to adapt, and once they got into bed, they each found their own position and stuck to Lin Sihengren. So don't be fooled by the large size of the quilt. In fact, only the middle part can be effectively used. A week later, it was Friday, and there was only one class in the morning. The three little ones had nothing to do after class, So they planned to go back to the villa to relax and rest. With Saturday and Sunday, they could have a good rest for 3 days. When they returned to the villa after class, Zhang Jingshi, who was wearing high heels and white-framed glasses and had an excellent temperament, happened to walk by the large classroom. The three little ones saw each other, smiled and walked over to say hello. Hello, instructor. Zhang Jingshi looked at the three sisters who were sleeping on the same bed, smiling but not letting other people passing by to see. Hello, you three, why do you need to see the teacher? Zhang Zuli looked around and saw that no one was paying attention here, so she covered her mouth and whispered, Sister Zhang, we have nothing to do in the afternoon, and we plan to go back to the villa with Zhengren. Are you busy in the afternoon? Little He Qing said in a soft voice. If you are not busy, let's go shopping together in the afternoon. Zhang Jingshi looked regretful, and whispered secretly, I still have something to do in the afternoon, and I may not be able to go back until later. If you go shopping, you have to wait until I come back at around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Han Wenwen said. Then we will wait for Sister Zhang to come back at 3 o'clock before going shopping. He Qing and Zhang Zuli nodded. Zhang Jingshi smiled. The past few nights together made Zhang Jingshi feel that these three girls are really interesting. Each one is very cute. No wonder Zhang likes them so much. At about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Han Wenwen and little He Qing sat on the sofa in the living room of the villa, eating potato chips and watching TV. Lily was in her own music room, playing guitar and singing. Lin Zhengren sat beside her and listened to the beat. After Zhang Zuli finished singing, she asked, How was Zhengren? You sang well this time, and your voice is more stable than before. She was happy to be praised, and just as she was about to speak, the phone rang. It was from home. Zhang Zuli picked up the phone. Hello, Mom and Dad? Is there anything wrong? Zhang Zuli's mother's tone on the phone sounded very hesitant and anxious, and she lowered her voice. Lily, something happened at home. Don't come back for a while, stay outside. Zhang Zuli put down the guitar nervously and looked at Lin Zhengren. What's the matter, Mom? Just tell me directly and don't scare me. What do you mean? It's just, isn't your father a leader in the factory? He invested money in the factory some time ago and became the factory director, but the original boss suddenly ran away with the money last week, and now our family owes the factory a large sum of money. Zhang Zuli's mother was about to cry. The debt can't be paid back, and the workers are staying at our house and won't leave. Zhang Zuli listened to the content on the phone and frowned and stared at Lin Zhengren. Lin Zhengren stood up and stretched out his hand. I'll go back with you to take a look. Chapter 352, Show Up. Lin Zhengren and Zhang Zuli hurried out, and Xiao Heqing and Han Wenwen, who were watching TV in the living room, were puzzled. Xiao Heqing asked, What's wrong, Lin Zhengren? Why are you so anxious? Lin Zhengren made arrangements while walking. Lily's family has a little trouble. I will go back with her to take a look. You two can stay at home. When Jingshi comes back, we can go to dinner together. You don't have to wait for us. Han Wenwen and He Qing stood up, and the little fox said, Is there something wrong with Lily's family? Can we go too? Maybe we can help. Lin Zhengren turned around and smiled. No, it shouldn't be a big problem. If everything goes well, we will be back in the evening. Let's go. Zhang Zuli also said, Let's go. Then she followed Lin Zhengren out of the house and left in the car. Xiao Heqing and Han Wenwen chased to the door, and saw that the two had already taken a taxi and left, and looked at each other worriedly. In the car, Lin Zhengren and Lily were sitting in the back, and Zhang Zuli called home again. But this time Aunt Zhang didn't answer, indicating that she was on the phone, and it was obvious that she was very busy. Anxious Zhang Zuli's forehead was full of sweat. Lin Zhengren held Zhang Zuli's hand. Don't worry, it doesn't sound like a problem that can't be solved. She turned her head and stared at Lin Zhengren, who always gave people a sense of security, and tried to smile and nod. With him around, Zhang Zuli felt much calmer. Lin Zhengren calmed Lily down, then took out his mobile phone and called Pan Lin. Hello Pan Lin? Are you not busy now? Well, you can send a few people to Fuhu community in person. There is a large group of people gathered there now. Yes, just in the name of the company. Calm the crowd and wait for me to arrive. It will take me some time to go back. It was already past noon, and 3 cars drove in at the gate of Fuhu community. They were the people Pan Lin brought after receiving the call. They found a lot of cars parked on both sides of the road at the gate of the community, more than 4 or 5 times more than the vehicles in the general community. The traffic jam was so bad that the cars couldn't stop. As soon as they entered the community, they heard a commotion somewhere from a distance, and many community owners were joining in the fun. A group of people surrounded Jiang Zuli's parents, saying all kinds of things. Boss Jiang, you have to give us a solution to this matter, right? The factory hasn't paid us wages for more than 4 months. You and Boss Wang agreed to pay us wages after finishing this batch of goods. Now Boss Wang has run away. You can't just ignore us like this. Yes, everyone is waiting for money. My son is sick now. How come the factory is closed now? Don't tell me you are planning to run away too. You have to give us the money no matter what, otherwise none of us will leave. We have worked so hard for the past 6 months, and we have paid a lot for food and other things. It would be too inhumane to just ignore us like this. Uncle Jiang was in a state of panic inside, unable to argue. Everyone calm down. I didn't expect this situation to happen now. It's not that I don't want to give you money, but this situation is not just about your wages, but also the contract signed between our factory and the consignee. The factory also has a large amount of liquidated damages. You have to give me some time to think of a solution. The workers didn't want to hear any of this. We don't understand what you're saying. We just want our wages. You can close the factory or fire us after we pay them. It doesn't matter what you do, but we need our wages now. Yes, we just want our wages. Everything will be fine after we pay them. Uncle Jiang and Aunt Jiang looked at the dozens of workers in front of them, and their hair almost turned white with worry. Pan Lin, who was wearing a suit, walked over and shouted, "Be quiet." The owners who were watching the excitement looked back one after another, and Uncle Jiang and Aunt Jiang followed suit. Pan Lin was seen walking slowly with a dozen people in suits. This posture made everyone fall into a brief silence. Although Pan Lin is not very serious in front of Lin Sihengren and Jiang Jingxi, as a personal secretary, she has actually learned a lot of Jiang Jingxi's aura. At this moment, she said sternly, "Stop arguing. In broad daylight, you make such a fuss in the community over a trivial matter. Don't the neighbors have to sleep? All the intersections around the community are blocked by you. You are all employees of this He Qing products factory, right? Go back to the factory if you have anything to say." The workers were curious. "Who are you?" Pan Lin took out her work badge. "I am Pan Lin, the secretary of Mr. Jiang and Mr. Lin of Jiangxi Company. Mr. Lin asked me to come here today. Jiangxi Company will solve this matter for you. If you still want your salary back, just go back to the factory honestly. Mr. Lin will be here soon and will solve it for you today." Jiangxi Company. The workers looked at each other. Jiangxi Company is now the most famous large enterprise in Zithar City, with tens of thousands of employees. After confirming that the work badges were correct, they really stopped making trouble immediately. They just asked, "Are you sure you can pay us today?" Pan Lin frowned. "Of course, since General Manager Lin has spoken, let alone your salary, even if the trouble is big, it can be solved. If you believe me, just listen to me and go back to the factory to get your salary. If you don't believe me, you can stay here." After discussing for a while, the workers nodded and followed Pan Lin's people back. Only Uncle Jiang and his wife looked at each other. They also heard what they just said. Aunt Jiang asked her husband in confusion, "Jiangxi Company? Husband, isn't this the largest company in our province? How can they care about our affairs? Did you find them?" Uncle Jiang didn't understand either. "What am I looking for? If I had this ability, would I need to do this?" After the workers were taken away, the couple walked over with fear and trepidation. Shake hands with each other. "Uncle Jiang, hello, you just said you are the secretary of the CEO of Jiangxi Company." Pan Lin looked at the trembling couple who didn't even dare to speak loudly and smiled. "Well, my name is Pan Lin, and CEO Lin sent me to solve your problem. Are you the person in charge of Jiangxi Products Factory?" Uncle Jiang nodded quickly. "Well, I am the current factory director, but you said CEO Lin. CEO Lin is..." Pan Lin thought that CEO Lin was in a hurry just now and didn't explain clearly what was going on. "I can't say more now. Anyway, CEO Lin called me, so you don't have to worry about this matter. Come with me to the factory, and CEO Lin will be here soon." The couple didn't know the specific situation, but it was obvious that CEO Lin was here to help them. So everyone followed Pan Lin and went to the factory together. At the gate of Jiangxi Products Factory at this moment, many people were standing there chatting, and no one knew why the famous Jiangxi Company came to help this factory. Everyone was wondering if the current CEO Jiang had this relationship. Everyone was talking about it, but Uncle Jiang was really sweating. He didn't dare to ask too much. He just waited for Mr. Lin to arrive at the gate with his wife and the secretary of this big company. Pan Lin asked the couple to drink some water and take a rest, but Uncle Jiang and his wife didn't dare to do so. They waved their hands and said no. Pan Lin was helpless. You don't have to be so nervous. If I'm not mistaken, you two are Jiang Zuli's parents, right? Uncle Jiang and Aunt Jiang looked at each other and nodded. Yes, what? You also know Lily. Chapter 353, My daughter is my lover? Pan Lin said, of course, Jiang Zuli is the most powerful singer of Xiangxi music. How come you don't know? Uncle Jiang looked puzzled. Lily is a singer of Xiangxi music. No, that's not right. Our Lily is a singer signed by a studio in the town. I have met the female boss of that studio before. Her surname is Wang. Some time ago, I saw her come to Lily and said that she wanted to participate in some competition. Aunt Jiang interrupted. She knew more than her husband and said to her husband, but the studio in our town has indeed moved. I asked Lily before, and Lily told me that the studio adjusted its structure and now has established a music company. But she was in a hurry to go out to find that person that time, so I didn't have time to ask more. Pan Lin nodded. It seems that Jiang Zuli did tell you too about it. The boss Wang that Uncle Jiang just mentioned is called Wang Lan, right? He is now the person in charge of our Xiangxi music. The music studio in the town merged with our company 2 years ago, and we are now one. Aunt Jiang understood and was surprised. Merged, which means that the music company where Lily works is under Xiangxi Music. Yes, you can understand it that way. Uncle Jiang vaguely understood what was going on. So is your company helping us this time because of our daughter? Is it President Wang who knows about our situation? That doesn't seem right. You just said President Lin. Isn't President Lin also the boss of the music company? Pan Lin looked into the distance from time to time to see if there was any car coming, and emphasized, of course not. President Lin is the general manager of the head office, and President Wang is the person in charge of the branch. There is a big difference, not on the same level. Uncle Jiang frowned in shock. General manager of the head office. Then the relationship between our Lily and President Lin is, I don't know what the specific relationship is. You two should know better than me. Anyway, it is true that they have a very close relationship. Uncle Jiang's pupils suddenly shrank, and he asked tremblingly, this President Lin is a female boss, right? Amen. Pan Lin smiled and asked back, why did you think it was a female boss? After saying this, Uncle Jiang suddenly took a step back. Fortunately, his wife quickly supported him and he almost fell. Pan Lin didn't see it. Aunt Jiang whispered to her husband, what's wrong with you? Why did you almost fall down? Uncle Jiang suddenly broke out in cold sweat on his forehead, and whispered to his wife, come with me for a moment, I have something to tell you. Aunt Jiang was puzzled, and Uncle Jiang said to Pan Lin, Mr. Pan, I'm going to call my wife and will be back soon. Pan Lin smiled and nodded, just do as you two please. So Uncle Jiang hurriedly pulled his wife aside. Aunt Jiang lowered her voice and asked, what's wrong? You just looked like you were startled. Uncle Jiang, a grown man at his age, suddenly had tears in his eyes. Didn't you understand? I just said so much to Mr. Pan. Our Lily went behind Ranran's back to be Mr. Lin's lover for the two of us. Aunt Jiang's eyes widened in disbelief. What are you talking about? How could Lily do such a thing? Uncle Jiang's eyes were red. It's my incompetence as a father that has harmed our daughter. Why are you so stupid that you haven't figured it out yet? Didn't you hear what Mr. Pan said just now? That Lily is now the most beautiful singer of Xiangxi music, and she is very close to Mr. Lin. Think about it, does our Lily have other abilities besides singing and being beautiful? Mr. Lin is the big boss of the head office, and his net worth must be hundreds of millions. Why would he like Lily, who has just come of age? Aunt Jiang also found it strange. That's true. I also wonder why Lily has contact with the big boss of the head office. It's more than just contact. What Mr. Pan meant by his words just now is that Lily and Mr. Lin are very close. I guess Mr. Lin saw that our daughter is young and beautiful and had an idea. This kind of thing happens all the time in the entertainment industry. He would look for Lily to chat and have meals from time to time, but because Lily was good friends with Ranran, she definitely didn't agree. But today we had this kind of thing, and you called Lily and scared her. My daughter wanted to help us, so she definitely agreed to be Mr. Lin's lover. Uncle Jiang felt helpless. Otherwise, why would such a big boss come to help us settle things? He is not stupid. This is a debt of several million. No one in the world will fill this hole for our family for no reason. It must be Lily who wanted to solve our troubles, so Aunt Jiang's eyes were red when she heard this. So that's how it is. No wonder such a big boss would come to help us. Then we absolutely cannot take this money. We can't sell our daughter no matter what. Even if we go to borrow or beg, we can't let Lily get hurt because of this. Uncle Jiang nodded heavily. Yes, you are right. Before Lily and Mr. Lin have a done deal, we have to make up for this matter. This will be the end of our lives, but Lily still has a bright future. We can't ruin Lily because of the money. Lily will definitely come over later. We have to persuade her. We must persuade her, the couple was discussing when a taxi suddenly drove over. Pan Lin perked up when she saw the taxi. The taxi stopped at the factory gate, the back door opened, and Lin Zhengren and Zhang Zuli got out of the car together. Pan Lin saw that it was indeed Mr. Lin, and was about to say hello. But before she took a step, Uncle Jiang and Aunt Jiang actually walked over first. The reason was that the moment the car came, Uncle Jiang saw Lin Zhengren and Zhang Zuli inside through the front window glass. He said to his wife, "Look, Lily is here." "Is Ranran in the car too?" Aunt Jiang nodded. "Really? It seems that Ranran doesn't know that Lily is in love with Mr. Lin. They haven't broken up yet. Everything can still be saved." Uncle Jiang pointed at the car and said, "Let's go, before Mr. Lin comes. Go and persuade our daughter. We can't let Lily go the wrong way." So the couple rushed to pick up Lin Zhengren and Zhang Zuli before Pan Lin. Zhang Zuli looked at her parents and the group of people in the factory anxiously, and ran to her mother. "Mom and Dad, are you okay?" Aunt Jiang's eyes were red. "Mom is okay. Mom and Dad are okay. It's hard for you, Lily." Zhang Zuli frowned. "What do you mean? What's wrong with you?" Lin Zhengren also noticed the red eyes of the two elders, wondering, "Uncle and Aunt, what happened?" He looked up and asked Pan Lin, who was walking over, what was going on. It stands to reason that after such a long time, even if something happened, the emotions of the uncle and aunt should have been calmed down after Pan Lin arrived. But now he looks even sadder. What's going on? Pan Lin also noticed the situation at this moment. She didn't understand why the two elders' eyes suddenly turned red. She said half a sentence in confusion. "I don't know." Uncle Jiang thought that Lin Zhengren was young and energetic and wanted to stand up for himself, so he comforted him. "Of course. This is Mr. Pan from Zhangxi Company. He is here to solve our problems. Don't worry, it's okay. Uncle and Aunt are fine. Calm down, calm down." Lin Zhengren blinked his eyes and looked at Pan Lin. "What's going on? Is it not going well?" Pan Lin looked like she had done something wrong. "Nothing is not going well. Everything was fine just now, and the workers were waiting." "Mr. Lin, don't be angry. I have something to ask," she asked Uncle Jiang. "What's wrong with you? Weren't you fine just now?" Although Uncle Jiang was anxious, his ears were good and his eyes were clear. It was obvious that Pan Lin's tone to Ranran was different from that of ordinary people, like a subordinate talking to a superior. "Huh? Wait, Mr. Pan, what did you say just now?" Pan Lin was puzzled. "I said, what's wrong with you? Were we chatting well just now? Why are your eyes suddenly red?" Uncle Jiang was stunned, looked at Pan Lin and then at Lin Zhengren, surprised. "No, I'm asking, what did you call Ranran just now? Did I hear it right? What did you hear wrong?" "Mr. Lin. Haven't we been waiting for Mr. Lin?" "Mr. Lin is here," Pan Lin said. "Mr. Lin? The Mr. Lin you have been talking about is Lin Zhengren." Chapter 354 Misunderstanding. In the distance, Aunt Jiang pulled Zhang Zuli aside after her daughter got off the bus. She wiped her red eyes with the back of her hand. Anxious Zhang Zuli kept asking questions and wiped her mother's tears with her hands. "Mom, what's wrong? Tell me, I'm so worried." Aunt Jiang shook her head. "Mom is fine, but you, Mom has questions to ask you. You must tell me the truth. This is very important. You can't lie, understand?" Her tone became serious. Zhang Zuli nodded vigorously. "Okay, I'll tell you whatever you want to know." Aunt Jiang swallowed her saliva and asked tremblingly, "Mom asks you, did you ask Mr. Lin to come and help when our family got into trouble this time? Otherwise, how would Mr. Lin know about our family's affairs?" Mr. Lin. Lily didn't bother to ask her mother why she called Lin Zhengren that, and hurriedly explained, "He was just next to me just now. He heard the content of the phone call and came with me." "What do you mean just next to me just now? Are you two together today?" "Yes, we are together." "What's the matter? What are you doing together?" "I was practicing singing, and he was listening next to me, and guiding me from time to time." "In your room?" "Yes, in my bedroom." Aunt Jiang's eyes trembled. which means that her daughter really has been with Mr. Lin from time to time these days. Lily, Mom asks you, do you still like Ranran? Zhang Zuli was even more puzzled. Why do you ask this suddenly? Of course I like him, he is my boyfriend. Aunt Jiang's voice trembled. So how far has your relationship with Mr. Lin progressed? Have you simply had dinner with him, or have you slept with him? Zhang Zuli blushed and looked around. Fortunately, no one was paying attention to her. Mom, what are you talking about? There are so many people here. But the other party was very serious and grabbed her daughter's arm tightly. Tell me the truth. How far has it progressed? You can't lie to me. Tell me quickly. Zhang Zuli lowered her head in confusion, clenched her little fists and said shyly, yes, we slept with each other, I did the thing with him. She raised her head, but what does this have to do with what happened today? Aunt Zhang was struck by lightning. Her daughter has slept with that big boss. She was about to step back weakly when her husband suddenly came over and said, wife, it's a misunderstanding, a misunderstanding. Aunt Zhang turned to look at her husband, covered her mouth and said in despair, what misunderstanding? There is no misunderstanding at all. She frowned and whispered, Lily has slept with Mr. Lin. They have done that kind of thing. Uncle Zhang blushed when he heard it, wondering why his daughter had done that kind of thing with a boy, but he immediately explained to his wife, what a mess. I mean we are overthinking it, that Mr. Lin is Ranran. My daughter did nothing wrong. Aunt Zhang was still crying, what can I do, what can I do? What did you say just now? She looked up. Uncle Zhang felt embarrassed and repeated again, I mean Mr. Lin is Lin Shengrun. It's Ranran, not someone else. Ranran? You said Mr. Lin is Ranran? How is this possible? Aunt Zhang was shocked. I didn't think of it at first, but, Uncle Zhang pointed at Pan Lin who was talking to Lin Shengrun in the distance, didn't you see that Mr. Pan went to pick up Ranran in person? It turns out that Ranran is Mr. Lin from Jiangxi Company. After saying that, he glanced at his daughter again and asked, and you and Ranran have slept together? When did it happen? Zhang Zuli's face flushed. Mom and Dad, why do you have to talk about this kind of thing? Aren't we here to solve the trouble in the factory today? And you should tell me clearly why you two are crying. And why does Mom ask me these questions? Uncle Zhang and Aunt Zhang looked at each other, and suddenly the scene was a little awkward. Half a minute later, after Zhang Zuli heard the reason, her eyes suddenly looked contemptuous and speechless, and she was not nervous at all. The couple looked guilty. Zhang Zuli said numbly, Mom and Dad, what kind of imagination do you two have? What are you thinking? How could I be taken advantage of? And I had dinner with Mr. Lin. Why in your imagination would I have dinner with other men? I am very loyal, okay? Have you seen me talk to other boys except Zhengren? Uncle Zhang snorted and chuckled twice. This is mainly because Dad thought that the big bosses of such companies are middle-aged men in their 40s or 50s. Who would have thought it was Ranran? And then Mr. Penn said that you and Mr. Lin are very close and often together, so Dad misunderstood. Dad, then can't you ask Sister Pan clearly? She is obviously right next to you. I'm sorry, Lily, Zhang Zuli sighed. Although the entertainment industry is a bit chaotic, and there are many girls in our music company who want to be taken advantage of by Zhengren, since the day I wanted to study music, Zhengren has been by my side to protect me and keep me safe. He will not let me be in any danger. I will not have any trouble in this regard, okay, she added, and even if something really happens in our family that we can't solve, I will go to Zhengren to discuss solutions first, and I won't go to Mr. Lin as you imagine. I only like Zhengren, can you two understand? The couple nodded. In unison, I understand. We know you like Ranran, and it's Mom and Dad who think too much. The whole family is full of imagination. Aunt Zhang found the blind spot at this time. Wait, Lily, you just said that there are many girls in your company who want to be hidden by Zhengren. Zhang Zuli blushed and snorted helplessly. Yes, and there are quite a lot of them. Every time Zhengren goes to the company, those guys will excitedly talk to Zhengren, but with me around, they can only do so. No one can even think of getting close to Zhengren. After the family finished talking, they finally went to find Lin Zhengren again. Lin Zhengren also learned the details from Pan Lin. Seeing the three people coming over, he asked, Lily, Uncle and Aunt, have you discussed it? Is everything okay? Uncle Zhang smiled and tried to smooth it over. Ranran, Mr. Lin, I'm sorry to make fun of you. We are both fine. It's just that such a big thing happened just now and I feel a little uncomfortable. So, Aunt Zhang really didn't expect Ranran to be the boss of such a big company. She couldn't go back to the time when she treated Lin Hengren as a child before. Ran, Mr. Lin. Lin Hengren grinned. Uncle and aunt, don't call me that. Just call me Ranran. The title of Mr. Lin is too formal. I don't know how to talk to you. The couple looked at each other, smiled and nodded. Lin Hengren, then let's find a place to sit and chat. Tell me about the situation in the factory. Chapter 355 Favor. Instead of going to the office, he sat down in the nearby security booth. Uncle Jiang explained the details of the matter. Basically, the original factory director was Uncle Jiang's leader for many years, and he was always very responsible. It took Uncle Jiang many years to climb to the leadership position, but the factory's performance was not good some time ago, and there were no large orders. The original factory director had been negotiating investments outside and could not come back, so he temporarily appointed Uncle Jiang as the acting factory director. After much difficulty, he finally negotiated a large order a few days ago. However, because the raw materials for the new products had to be repurchased, they were short of some money, so the original factory director found Uncle Jiang. He said that as long as he could help him through the difficulties this time, he would be the official deputy factory director, and he could also give Uncle Jiang some shares in advance. The factory position could also be appointed now. Uncle Jiang also hesitated again and again, thinking that he had followed the other party for so many years and was trustworthy, and the other party was also very sincere, so he took out all the family savings and even borrowed part of it. Uncle Jiang felt very regretful when he talked about this. Who would have thought that the next day after I gave him the money, he disappeared. The house he used to live in was sold, his cell phone was turned off, and he ran away, leaving me such a mess. Jiang Zuli asked anxiously, Dad, how much money did you give him in total? More than 1 million, plus the little you gave us before. Basically all of it has been given away. More than 1 million, Jiang Zuli didn't want to say more. Although more than 1 million was not a small amount, the family's total savings were not that much, but fortunately she had some money in her hands after being a singer for a few years, which could barely fill the hole. Who knows that Uncle Jiang continued, in fact, it's not a big deal that my savings are gone. The problem is now, there is a penalty for not being able to produce new products. As the factory director, I also signed the contract when I negotiated with people. If I don't produce that batch of goods, I will have to pay a large sum of money, and the workers' wages have not been paid for half a year. Now he has run away, and the 200 workers in the factory are following me all day to ask for money. Everyone looked anxious, only Lin Hengren nodded, very calmly, except for the penalty. How much is owed for the workers' wages? The average salary is 6,000 per person. In half a year, the wages alone must be at least 7 or 8 million. Jiang Zuli's eyes trembled. How much? Lin Hengren, I understand. Pan Lin, you go and pay the wages to the workers according to the factory's salary table. Deal with this matter first, and deduct it from my account. Pan Lin stood up. Okay, Mr. Lin. Lin Hengren's straightforwardness made Uncle Jiang and Aunt Jiang not know what to say. This is more than 7 million, and ordinary people can't take it out at all. Uncle Jiang frowned, and suddenly he was about to kneel down. Of course. Thank you for saving my family. Lin Hengren and Lily hurried over to support him. Lin Hengren frowned. Uncle, what are you doing? Don't do this. Jiang Zuli was also panicked. Dad, Uncle Jiang looked up at Lin Hengren. But I can't pay you back, Lin Hengren explained. Don't worry, I haven't finished talking just now. Hasn't the factory signed an order with someone? I will pay for the purchase of raw materials, and you can continue to work with the workers. Get the balance after the work is done. As long as you get through this stage, won't the factory survive? But I'm afraid it's too late. They are in a hurry anyway, then hire more people and install more equipment. Besides, the time may not be impossible to negotiate. The customer of this order is our company. Yes, it's Jiang Group. Jiang Group. Half an hour later, Pan Lin led people downstairs to pay the workers in line. Aunt Jiang was comforting them, because these old workers still needed to stay and continue to work. And in the office of the factory, Uncle Jiang called the Jiang Group to talk, but to no avail. The other party said that there was no extension. But when Lin Hengren came forward, the other party heard that it was Mr. Lin from Jiangxi Company, and his attitude immediately changed. You are Mr. Lin. Okay, then I will talk to Mr. Jiang. Mr. Jiang is responsible for this batch of products. Please wait. The so-called Mr. Jiang was none other than Jiang Jin. Lin Hengren was surprised to see such a conversation. Mr. Jiang Jin on the other end was also puzzled. Linz Hengren, why is it you? Aren't you and your sister in the entertainment industry? How come you are involved in manufacturing again? Linz Hengren smiled. It's a long story. Anyway, there were some troubles in the factory here. Can you give us a little more time, just one more week, and the goods will be delivered to you smoothly? 1 week. Okay, it's not that urgent anyway. Although it's an expedited order, it's actually okay to be late for a month. I'll give you 1 more week and submit the order half a month later. Uncle Jiang couldn't hear what was said on the phone, but Linz Hengren was ashamed. Thanks, I owe you a favor. Jiang Jin blushed on the other end. No, you taught me to play the piano, helped me in Xiaomeng, and saved my sister's life. This little favor is nothing. Is there anything else? No, please. Jiang Jin said you're welcome, but was about to hang up when she suddenly asked softly, are you free next week? How about we have dinner together? We haven't seen each other except for classes since high school. Linz Hengren nodded. Okay, I'll ask you out next week. It's a deal. The phone was hung up. Uncle Jiang asked nervously, how is it? Linz Hengren smiled and said, the other party gave us 2 more weeks. Uncle Jiang, just do it with confidence, but the quality must be guaranteed. Uncle Jiang was very happy. Thank you Ranran. Don't worry about the quality. We are an old factory. Then when the balance arrives, I will pay you back part of it first. After the subsequent operation, I will pay you back what I owe you in batches. The money doesn't matter. There's no rush to pay it back. Linz Hengren picked up the product on the table, which was an electronic component, but it seems that your components are also useful to us. I also have a live broadcast company. I will let Pan Lin bring the people from the purchasing department to have a look. If possible, how about you, Uncle, make products exclusively for Jiangxi Company in the future? Uncle Jiang nodded. Really? Your company also needs this kind of product? Okay. Then I will go to receive the leaders of the purchasing department later. Mr. Lin, don't worry, the quality of our factory will definitely be up to standard. Linz Hengren smiled. Uncle, why do you call me Mr. Lin again? Just call me Ranran. Uncle Jiang didn't know how to thank him. His voice trembled. The main thing is that this favor is too great. I don't know how to thank you. For a moment seeing Uncle Jiang's eyes red again. More than 10 million is a lot, but for the current scale of Jiangxi Company, this amount of money is really just a drop in the bucket. The difficulties that can overwhelm this small factory, if it is in Jiangxi Company, it is at most a small trouble. Chapter 356 Stupid Lily. Later, Pan Lin brought people from the purchasing department to check the products and confirmed that the quality was indeed good. So they signed a contract to make parts specifically for Jiangxi Company. As for the workers, although they had not received wages for half a year and the former factory director had run away, the workers did not have high trust in the factory. But because of Linz Hengren's arrival, Jiangxi Company intervened in this matter. After receiving their wages, the workers all thought that the current factory director Jiang, that is, Uncle Jiang, had a relationship with Jiangxi Company and had a strong background. So they all stayed, and not even one resigned. Anyway, they were more motivated. It can be said that Linz Hengren's appearance this time completely saved the Jiang family. Downstairs in the office, the workers received their wages and smiled as they returned to the factory to work one after another. Aunt Jiang watched the difficulties pass, and she felt that life was impermanent. She received a call from her husband and heard that the contract with Jiangxi Company had been signed. She was so happy that she couldn't speak. In this way, the factory will have orders in the future. After hanging up the phone, Jiang Zuli asked, Mom, how much money can the factory pay back to Hengren after finishing this batch of goods? Aunt Jiang calculated. Ranran paid the workers' wages and the raw materials this time, a total of more than 13 million yuan. After the batch of goods is finished, we can probably make more than 3 million yuan, leaving the cost for the next batch, and can pay back nearly 2 million yuan to Ranran. It's less than 200 yuan to pay back nearly 2 million, and Jiang Zuli wondered when it would take to pay back 1,300 yuan. Jiang Zuli reminded, I understand. In any case, if the factory makes money in the future, we must pay Hengren back first. We can't keep owing him money. Aunt Jiang nodded. Of course, Ranran is our family's savior. This money must not be delayed. But Mom is also very curious. How old is Ranran? How can he become the boss of Jiangxi Company? This is a long story. I don't know the specific details. I only know roughly that he invested with Sister Jiang, and it took several years to develop to its current scale. Yes, Jiangxi Company is indeed a new company in recent years, but the sister Jiang you mentioned, that's the current deputy general manager of Jiangxi Company, Jiang Zuli said. Oh, Ms. Jiang, is she married? She should have a boyfriend, right? Jiang Zuli knew what her mother meant when she heard her mother say that. Her mother was afraid that Jiangren would fall in love with someone else, but that was obviously impossible. At most, he was just unfaithful. She smiled and said, Mom, don't worry about this kind of thing or ask about it. Jiangren has his own ideas when doing things, and ordinary people can't guess or interfere. Aunt Jiang thought so too. Ranran is really the most powerful genius in our town. I used to think that he would be successful in the future if he studied hard, but now it seems that he is not the kind of success I imagined. He is much more powerful. But, Lily, don't blame your mother for being too talkative. I used to think that our two families were in similar financial conditions, but now, can our family still match Ranran? Jiang Zuli looked at her mother's worry and breathed a sigh of relief. At this time, Lin's Hangren happened to come down with Uncle Jiang. The mother and daughter hurried to meet him. Lin's Hangren chatted with Uncle Jiang and said, Uncle, you take care of the things here, I'll leave first. It just so happens that I plan to go home to visit this time when I come to the town. Uncle Jiang quickly agreed, okay, then you can be busy, don't worry about the things here. Aunt Jiang heard, Ranran, you are going back? Then come to our house for dinner another day. Lin's Hangren smiled, well, I will make a special trip to visit Uncle and Aunt another day. Aunt Jiang was relieved, when you come, call in advance, and your uncle and I will make good preparations. During the chat, Lin's Hangren looked at Jiang Zuli, Lily, then you stay here with Uncle and Aunt, I will go home to take a look and pick you up in the evening. Jiang Zuli stared at Lin's Hangren inexplicably, her eyes seemed to owe her. Aunt Jiang supported her daughter, Lily, you don't have to stay here with us, Lily, you and Ranran go back to see your uncle and Aunt Lin, and buy some things for the elders. Jiang Zuli turned her head and glanced at her mother. Both her father and mother winked at her. Uncle Jiang also said, Mom and Dad are fine, Lily, you and Ranran can just go back and rest. Lin's Hangren felt strange and asked curiously, what's wrong, Lily? Why do you look a little dazed? Jiang Zuli looked at Lin's Hangren again and grinned, it's okay, then I'll go back with Hangren to Mom and Dad, you two can call me anytime if you have anything. She asked Lin's Hangren, shall I go back with you? Lin's Hangren felt that Uncle Jiang and Aunt Jiang's emotions had stabilized, so he didn't refuse. Okay, then you can accompany me home to take a look. So as Jiang's father and mother said goodbye, Lin's Hangren took Jiang Zuli away in the car and returned to the Lin family. When leaving the factory intersection, Uncle Jiang and Aunt Jiang waved their hands and waited until the car completely disappeared before putting down their arms. Aunt Jiang frowned. Lily's reaction just now, is it because she feels that our family owes Ranran? If it weren't for Ranran's help this time, our family would not be able to get through this hurdle. Uncle Jiang also sighed, more than 10 million, Ranran is so powerful now, I'm afraid we can't repay this favor in this life. If Lily and Ranran can really succeed in the future, it will be a blessing for our family. Aunt Jiang nodded. Go back to the factory and make this batch of goods first. In the taxi driving in the town, Lin's Hangren and Jiang Zuli were in the back seat. Lin's Hangren looked at Jiang Zuli's somewhat guilty look, smiled and touched her head. What are you thinking about? Isn't this trouble solved? Jiang Zuli stared at Lin's Hangren with energetic eyes. Soon the taxi arrived at Lin's house. At this moment, it was more than 1 o'clock in the afternoon. There was no one at home. Lin Yingjin and his wife had not yet finished get off work. When Lin's Hangren got home, he skillfully changed into slippers, washed his face, sat on the sofa and ate some fruit. He picked up an apple and handed it to Lily, but Lily slowly walked over after washing up. She was less lively than usual and more serious. She stood straight with her hands behind her back and her head down. Zhangren, thank you so much for your help this time. Our family will definitely pay you back the more than 10 million. We won't ask you for so much money for no reason. Lin's Hangren laughed. What are you talking about? So serious. Jiang Zuli clenched her fists, looked up and said with a frown, this is more than 10 million. It's enough to buy several houses in a small town. I know the money I made in those years of singing. It's not much, only 2 or 3 million at most. Add the 2 million from this order, and I can't pay you back altogether. I don't know how long it will take me to pay back such a large amount. She was very anxious and tearful. I don't know if it's right to say this. Anyway, I don't like to use so much of your money for no reason. I'm not as capable as you, and it's good enough that I don't hold you back. If my family uses so much of your money again, I feel like I'm a burden to you and I'm not worthy of you. Lin Zhengren looked at Lily curiously, with a smile on his face. Not worthy of me, Zhang Zuli said proudly. What are you laughing at? Isn't it? Take the apple from my hand first. I've been holding it for you for a long time. Oh, Zhang Zuli took the apple from Lin Zhengren's hand. Lin Zhengren ordered, just take it. Take a bite and try it. Zhang Zuli pursed her lips. I'm telling you something serious. Take a bite first. Zhang Zuli had no choice but to take a bite of the apple and found it quite sweet. Eat it, it's delicious. Lin Zhengren, see? So what do you want to tell me when you say you are not worthy of me? You want to tell me that I should break up with you? To have one less girlfriend? And find a new one? Of course not. Why do you want to break up? Zhang Zuli immediately blushed and explained, I mean I will definitely pay you back the money, and then oh. She squatted on the ground with her legs hugged, and shouted, I don't know what I want to say. Anyway, she sniffed and her eyes were full of tears. I just feel that our family has held you back this time, and I feel sorry for you. Lin Zhengren reached out and rubbed her head, imitating the other's words, and said gently, stupid, pighead, you are my girlfriend, what's wrong with me helping you? If you really feel that you owe me, then win first place in this year's competition for me. Will this money still be considered money to you then? Huh? Stupid Lily. Zhang Zuli looked up at Lin Zhengren in a daze, and seemed to want to cry even more. Stupid Zhengren, why are you always so nice to me, big idiot? Chapter 357 Bedroom. Lin Zhengren's bedroom door was closed. Zhang Zuli lay flat on the bed, hugging Lin Zhengren's neck and kissing him. She felt his hands reaching into his clothes restlessly. Zhengren, just after they kissed for a while, Lin Zhengren's cell phone rang. Zhang Zuli blushed and looked at him. You're calling, answer it first. Lin Zhengren looked at the shy Lily. Wait for me a moment, okay. He sat down again, and Zhang Zuli took this opportunity to unbutton her back. She took out some clothes and put them on the bedside table. Lin Zhengren saw that the call was from Pan Lin, so he answered the call. Hello Pan Lin? What's going on? Pan Lin said on the phone. Boss Lin, I just investigated the situation of the former factory director running away according to your request, and found that this guy's running away is indeed very strange. According to people, this guy usually has the habit of playing cards, but the amount has never been large. Some people suspect that the reason he ran away this time is that he lost a lot of money playing cards, but some people say that he never plays big games and thinks it is impossible that he ran away because of playing cards. There are all kinds of opinions. Lin Zhengren thought for a moment. According to what Uncle Zhang said and his own observations over the years, the boss of this factory has been in the town for 7 or 8 years. It is really incredible that he ran away all of a sudden. Who are the people who played cards with him? Pan Lin answered on the phone, while Zhang Zuli looked at Lin Zhengren's serious expression. Suddenly his eyes glanced in a certain direction. Her face turned red and she bit her moist lips. The whole person got into the quilt. Pan Lin continued, the people who play cards with him were basically his regular friends, Uncle Zhang and some factory leaders, but since last month, he has not played cards in the factory. He said he was playing with a man called Brother Yang. Who is Brother Yang? Okay, I know. Lin Zhengren didn't finish his sentence when he suddenly felt something. He glanced at Lily who was hiding in the quilt and doing something bad, and frowned slightly. How come this girl is also learning from Wenwen? Boss Lin, Pan Lin asked, why are you silent? Well, I know. Just check this Brother Yang and tell me if you have any news. If not, hang up. I have something else to do here. Okay, I'll tell you when I find out. You're busy. After the call ended, Lin Zhengren put down his phone and looked down at Zhang Zuli hiding in the quilt. Lily, Zhang Zuli slowly poked her head out of the bed, her face flushed as she looked at Lin Zhengren. What's wrong? Stupid Zhengren, lie down and take a rest. I'll help you relax. Lin Zhengren smiled. Are all girls born with disability? So amazing. Zhang Zuli was too shy to speak. How could they be born with disability? I searched for a tutorial to make you happy. Okay. I won't tell you anymore. Stupid. Just close your eyes and lie down. After that, she got back into the bed. In the afternoon, they made love for a long time on Lin Zhengren's bed. Lin Zhengren and Zhang Zuli made love for a long time, but since it was the second time, Zhang Zuli was much more physically fit this time. She didn't fall asleep in a daze after the end. Instead, she could lie on the pillow and look at Lin Zhengren, with only a little sweat on her forehead. A few strands of hair stuck to her forehead due to sweat. Zhengren, thank you for this time. Lin Zhengren leaned sideways and touched her face with his hand. Are you still talking about this? Is it endless? Zhang Zuli blinked and said proudly, how can it be endless? It's just, only you can stay by my side every time something happens. I am really touched. I will not let you down in the music competition at the end of this year. I will definitely win the championship, and then help the company make more money. Help you make more money? Lin Zhengren smiled helplessly. Money is a small matter. The main thing is that you will be famous by then. I will spend more resources to make my Lily known to everyone. When you become a queen of singing, I will have a queen of singing girlfriend. Zhang Zuli couldn't help laughing. It sounds good, but I suddenly feel a little curious. What do you like about me, Zhengren? You are not going to say that you like my cuteness again? There are so many cute girls, why did you choose me? Lily asked so many inexplicable questions today. Zhang Zuli snorted inexplicably, pinched her waist with one hand in the quilt, closed her eyes and said proudly, you know, I'm going to be a singing queen in the future. A big star. I may not like ordinary boys. But, she opened her eyes again and stared at the boy, but compared to you, I'm still a long way behind. You also cultivated me, so I'm curious about what Zhengren likes about me. Just tell me. Lin Zhengren smiled and leaned over to whisper something in Zhang Zuli's ear, whose face was red. Zhang Zuli's sudden realization turned out to be like this. Very surprised, so this is what makes Zhengren's heart beat fast. But this applies to all girls, right? They will feel the same when they meet someone they like. Lin Zhengren lay down again and shook his head. Although his life in this life was very smooth, he had seen many girls in his previous life. No, there are not many girls with this trait, but you, He Qing, Wenwen, and Jingxi all have this trait, so I like you. Of course, this is only one reason. The most important thing is that you are really cute. Who would not like you? Zhang Zuli's heartbeat quickened again after being praised like this, and she snorted, what's so cute about me? Only you think I'm cute. Do you want to take a nap? You must be tired after tossing around for an afternoon, right? Zhang Zuli slowly let go of the other's fingers. It's okay. I'm only a little tired. I like this kind of tiredness. A little more is fine. Lily is really naughty sometimes. Oh, that's so annoying. Zhang Zuli got into his arms and closed her eyes, then I'll sleep. Call me when you go back later. No problem. 20 minutes later, downstairs in the community, Lin Yingzhen's car stopped in the community, and he got off with Lin Xiaoli in the car. They talked about some daily things. Just when they took the elevator to the door of their house, Lin Xiaoli was suddenly stunned. Huh? Someone has been here. Lin Yingzhen was puzzled. Who has been here? How did you know? Lin Xiaoli glanced at her husband meaningfully and analyzed. I am very sensitive to small details. Don't you smell a little bit of shampoo in the corridor? Lin Yingzhen also moved his nose. Huh? It seems to be true, but it's too faint. I suspect it was blown in from the corridor window. Huh? But I didn't open the corridor window today, and the smell is very familiar. She winked at her husband, opened the door quietly and walked in. Quietly came to her son's room, looked at the closed door, and looked at her husband proudly, meaning that I am awesome, right? Lin Yingzhen gave a thumbs up. Great. You guessed it all. Lin Xiaoli opened the door, opened her arms, and smiled. Run. Why did you come back so suddenly without calling Mom? Mom, give me a hug. Then she suddenly saw Lin Zhengren holding Zhang Zuli, who was sleeping cleanly on the bed, half turning his head and making a shushing gesture. Lin Xiaoli froze there with a flushed face, and the next second she closed the door and left the room at the speed of light. She said outside the door, excuse me, Mom and Dad are going to cook first. You and Lily, keep your voice down. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 358 Level 81. The sound of the door closing woke up Zhang Zuli, who was sleeping soundly, and she opened her eyes dazedly. Huh? What's that sound, Zhengren? I seemed to hear you go out just now. Seeing her face full of questions, Lin Zhengren explained, it's not me who went out, it's my parents who came back, and they just came to my room and saw you. Your parents? Your dad? She blushed when she realized it, and stammered, Uncle and Aunt are back. And saw me like this in your bed. Not long after, Zhang Zuli got up in a panic and put on her clothes, then ran to the kitchen at the speed of light to help Lin Xiaoli cook. He smiled awkwardly and said, "Auntie, let me help you pick the vegetables." Lin Xiaoli looked at Zhang Zuli and felt a little embarrassed. Sure enough, Ranran was older now and had a girlfriend, so she couldn't surprise him when she entered his bedroom in the future. "Okay, Lily, when did you and Ranran come back?" Zhang Zuli helped wash the vegetables. "We came back in the afternoon. Something happened at home, so Hungren came with me to take a look." "Something happened, don't worry, Auntie, it's been resolved." "Oh, that's good." After Lin Xiaoli finished speaking, she turned around and glanced at her son sitting on the sofa through the glass door of the kitchen, and asked Lily quietly, "Lily, you and Ranran." "No, it should be said that you and Ranran, you must take protective measures. Don't be too careless." Zhang Zuli blushed, and her hands were flustered while washing the vegetables. "I know, Auntie. Did you take any measures just now?" Actually, no. To be precise, I didn't during the trip, but..." Zhang Zuli clearly remembered that she asked Lin Zhengren if anything was wrong the first time. Zhengren said that he knew medicine so he had a way to avoid pregnancy, and if you wanted to get pregnant later, there would be a way to increase the chance. Zhang Zuli didn't know what this method was. It sounded very mysterious. Obviously, she didn't take any medicine afterwards. But since Zhengren said it, it must be true. Just believe him. Lin Xiaoli felt that the atmosphere in the kitchen was very subtle, so she changed the subject. "Lily, you guys shouldn't go back tonight, right? Auntie will get you another pillow tonight." Zhang Zuli looked at Lin Xiaoli. "I haven't asked Zhengren yet, maybe he will go back." Who knew that Lin Zhengren in the living room said, "Since we're eating here, I won't go back. It happens that I plan to visit Uncle Jiang's factory tomorrow morning. Let's go after we finish seeing it." Zhang Zuli was very happy to hear Zhengren's words. "Wouldn't it be great to be able to stay for a night?" She smiled and said, "Stay here? Then Zhengren, why don't you call He Qing and the others to tell them? Don't let them worry." "Yeah, I'm calling." Lin Zhengren looked at the mobile phone number and dialed He Qing's number. Little He Qing answered the phone in seconds on the other end. A sweet and soft voice, "Hello? Lin Zhengren, He Qing, are Wenwen and Jingshu with you? Everyone is here. Is Lily okay?" "Everyone is a little worried. It's nothing serious. There was just a small problem in the factory here. I plan to go to the factory again tomorrow morning. Lily and I won't go back tonight. You three don't have to wait for us for dinner." Little He Qing paused before saying, "What time will you and Lily be back tomorrow?" "We should be back around 9 in the morning." Little He Qing was happy. "Oh, okay. Then we'll wait for you and Lily to come back for breakfast." The voices of Little Fox and Zhang Jingshi were also heard on the phone. "Brother Zhengren, be careful when you come back in the morning." Zheng, just focus on dealing with things over there. Don't worry about this." "Okay, got it." After hanging up the phone, Lin Yingjin, who was also sitting on the sofa, looked at his son's 3 wives and 4 concubines with a strange expression. "Their relationship sounds really good. After all, you have known each other for a long time." Lin Zhengren replied with a smile. "Miss Jiang's parents are small leaders in the underworld. They were abandoned by the original leader during the mission. The leader fled with gold, silver and jewelry. The organization almost disbanded due to trust. Fortunately, you took action in time after learning the news and handled the incident. Father and Mother Jiang admire you very much, and you found that the other party's organization is very good at making weapons, so you asked them to make weapons specifically for you in the Empress's imperial city. Your spiritual level was improved in this adventure. Your current spiritual level is level 81. In the evening, the family of 4 had a happy dinner. After dinner, Lin Xiaoli took out a new pillow and put it in Lin Zhengren's bedroom. It was not too late. Everyone chatted and watched TV for a while, and then the lights were turned off at home. Zhang Zuli and Lin Zhengren returned to the bedroom and closed the door. After looking at each other, Zhang Zuli uttered an ah and squatted on the ground holding her head. "It's so embarrassing to be seen by my aunt doing that kind of thing with you. Your reaction arc is too slow, and I only saw you sleeping, and I didn't see the process." Zhang Zuli raised her head and retorted shyly, "It makes no difference. I was clean at that time. Who can't see what I was doing with you?" Lin Zhengren touched her head and then went to the bed. He didn't dwell on this issue. "Lily, although you slept in pajamas like them when you were in the villa, you usually don't wear pajamas at home, right?" She stammered. "How did you know?" "I don't remember telling you, I can still see that you are a little uncomfortable wearing pajamas, so you don't need to change pajamas tonight, and have a good sleep. Zhang Zuli thought about it and stood up and went to the bed, lifted the quilt and got into the quilt, staring at Lin Sehengren. After a while, she stretched out her hand and put it on Lin Sehengren's thigh and said, "Why are you sleeping?" "I don't want to sleep. I want you, but my parents are in the other room, and the soundproofing is not very good." Zhang Zuli looked away shyly. "Then why don't you cover my mouth? I will try my best to control myself and not make any noise." He laughed and scolded, "Stupid Lily." Zhang Zuli pursed her lips and retorted, "Stupid Sehengren." The two looked at each other and laughed. Their bodies got closer and closer, and they kissed each other. That night, Lin Xiaoli and Lin Yingjin in the next room were lying on the bed unusually quietly. Although there was no big movement in his son's room, it was inevitable to be guessed. Lin Xiaoli looked at the ceiling shyly. "Husband, why do you think Ranran and Lily go to bed so early? And there has been no noise since they entered the room." "Lin Yingjin, didn't our son say he had something to do tomorrow?" Lin Xiaoli looked at her husband and asked quietly, "Do you really believe it? You think they won't do that tonight?" "I saw Lily's face was a little red when she entered the room." Lin Yingjin grinned, but he actually knew something in his heart. Who knows? But it's not normal for young people to sleep all the time. "When I first went to your house to spend the night, didn't we?" Lin Xiaoli quickly covered her husband's mouth and said in panic, "Please keep your voice down. How dare you say that? My parents told me later that they heard it vaguely. They were so scared that they couldn't fall asleep in the middle of the night. They didn't even dare to go to the bathroom for fear that the sound of opening the door would disturb us." Lin Yingjin's mouth was covered and no one knew what he was saying. He mumbled something and made Lin Xiaoli very amused. Chapter 359 Baby. Early the next morning, Lin Sehengren and Zhang Zuli said goodbye to Lin Yingjin and his wife and went to the factory to check the situation. They found that Uncle Zhang was very busy and adjusted his mentality very well. The work of purchasing new materials had also begun, and the factory was on track at the fastest speed. So Lin Sehengren was no longer worried and went back to the villa with Lily. But on the way in the car, Zhang Zuli found something strange. In the back seat of the taxi, she accidentally saw her face on the closed mobile phone screen and touched it with her hand. Huh? She also switched to selfie mode and took a look. In selfie mode, human skin blemishes are most obvious, especially when the distance is very close. But Zhang Zuli found that she and Sehengren didn't rest much last night, and they didn't go to bed until more than 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. But when she got up early in the morning, her skin not only didn't have any symptoms such as dry dark circles. On the contrary, it was better than her condition last week. More beautiful and cute. The skin is firm and moisturized, and there are no blemishes such as acne marks. The whole person looks sparkling, just like coming back from a hot spring last time. And thinking about it, her mental state today was also very good, which was not like the reaction after staying up late. Zhang Zuli put down her phone. "Sehengren. Has my skin improved?" Lin Sehengren looked out the window and glanced at Lily. Of course he knew it would get better. They had been intimate so many times yesterday. "Yeah, it's better, sure enough, but why? I've been curious about this since I came back from the hot spring last time, but since there was no such sudden moisturizing situation later, I didn't care about it anymore. But today," she thought about it and said to herself, "if it's not caused by the hot spring, then what is the common point of these 2 times that my skin suddenly improved?" Wenwen and He Qing kept asking if it was because of the hot spring, and I always felt that it was not right. Lin Sehengren smiled inexplicably and looked out the window. Zhang Zuli heard Lin Sehengren's chuckle and was about to say, "What are you laughing at?" but she suddenly seemed to react and her face froze. "Yeah, Sehengren, why aren't you surprised at all? It's like you knew it would be like this time, last time, and even the first time Han Wenwen suddenly became beautiful in the hotel." Lin Sehengren asked back, "I should have been shocked the first time, right?" Her voice was cute. "No way. Your expression at that time was at most curious, and He Qing and I were shocked." No. What do you mean you should have been shocked the first time? Doesn't that mean you knew the reason? Don't you know it?" Lin Sehengren looked at Zhang Zuli meaningfully. Zhang Zuli smacked her lips and pulled Lin Sehengren's arm. "Tell me. What's going on? What's the reason? Didn't you almost guess it just now, huh? You just said it yourself. There must be something the same between the 2 times, wouldn't it be clear if you just think about it? Recall whether He Qing and Wenwen have done something." Zhang Zuli looked thoughtful. Could the same thing be that they didn't eat breakfast? Something happened? Going out? Or? The intimate moments of last night flashed through her mind, and her face gradually turned red, and finally as bright as a tomato. She opened her trembling mouth. Could it be? Lin Zhengren hissed, meaning that the driver would hear it. Zhang Zuli's face was smoking, and she lowered her voice in panic, as if she had discovered a new world. Is this really the reason? Could it be that after doing that kind of thing with Zhengren, it will? Lin Zhengren found a reason to explain. After all, I am a doctor, so I will take care of my body from time to time, and intimate things will make us two get along, and it will definitely have an effect on you. Is this true? She was so ashamed that she couldn't speak, but immediately found a blind spot. Wait? No, Zhengren, the first person to sleep with you was He Qing, right? You said this yourself. Yeah, that's not right, because the first person whose skin improved was Han Wenwen, not He Qing. Han Wenwen didn't sleep with you at that time. Zhang Zuli covered her mouth halfway through her words, and her cute pupils widened. After the brain became smart, the reaction speed became faster. According to Zhengren, doing that kind of thing with Zhengren will make a girl's body better, so this thing is essentially absorbing Zhengren's essence. And this kind of thing does not necessarily have to be that kind of thing, there is another way. In other words, the fox used her for Zhengren a long time ago. Zhang Zuli stared at Lin Zhengren with shame and anger, and suddenly closed her eyes and cursed, "Stupid Zhengren. Stinky fox." The driver was startled. As you can imagine, after returning to the villa, Zhang Zuli, who was shy and embarrassed, went straight to Han Wenwen. "Fox, you actually did that kind of thing for Zhengren so early. At that time, you haven't even gone on a trip." The clever little fox was cornered by Lily, and immediately understood what Zhang Zuli was talking about. After a whole night, Lily's skin was obviously better, and she smiled and said, "Lily finally found it. There's nothing I can do. I'm greedy." Greediness can be used for this kind of thing. Zhang Jingxi and Xiao Heking in the villa were puzzled. Zhang Jingxi asked, "Why is Lily so noisy as soon as she came back?" "Lily, is everything okay at home?" Zhang Zuli turned back shyly. "It's okay. It's been resolved," Xiao Heqing asked. "Then what are you talking about?" Zhang Zuli stammered. "This." She covered her mouth and asked Han Wenwen, "Stinky fox, are you going to tell everyone? Tell everyone how to improve their skin and spirit?" Han Wenwen thought for a while, and whispered in Zhang Zuli's ear, "Of course you can, but I feel that Brother Zhengren is going to be in trouble." Zhang Zuli thought so too, but replied in a low voice, "But everyone will find out about this kind of thing sooner or later, it's too obvious." "By the way, when did you know it?" Han Wenwen felt sorry when it came to this. "I guessed it when I was traveling, and later confirmed it through actual combat. But it was hard to do it even if I knew it, because Brother Zhengren hasn't been intimate with me much since school started, and there wasn't much opportunity." "Yeah, it's hard to find an opportunity." Zhang Zuli looked disdainful. "But I see that your skin has been in good condition recently." Han Wenwen covered her face and squinted her eyes and said, "Then let me ask you, whose skin is not good recently? I am the first person to discover this secret. I can see from everyone's skin that they are cheating on me recently." Zhang Zuli was blocked by this sentence and couldn't say anything. "Yes, if doing that kind of thing will make your skin better, then Han Wenwen can find out that everyone has been secretly doing that kind of thing with Zhengren during this period. There is no point in lying." Lily didn't dare to look at Han Wenwen. After all, she had cheated on him a few times in recent days. Han Wenwen continued, "But Lily didn't get so good all of a sudden last night. You were intimate with Brother Zhengren many times last night, right?" Zhang Zuli was embarrassed. "This, how many times?" Han Wenwen was jealous and curious. "How can you ask such a thing?" "I won't tell you." She covered her ears hard. Xiao Heking and Zhang Jingxi looked at the two people whispering, reacted greatly, and looked even more confused. "Zhang Jingxi, what are you two talking about?" Han Wenwen touched Lily with her hand, and then the two exchanged glances. Han Wenwen said, "Xiao Qingqing, Sister Zhang, Lily and I are going to tell you a secret." So, the two of them covered their mouths and whispered the secret in Xiao Heking and Zhang Jingxi's ears. The moment they heard the secret, Xiao Heking and Zhang Jingxi blushed. They said in unison, "Is it true?" Zhang Zuli said intermittently, "I have tested it myself, it can't be false, you will know it if you think about it." Xiao Heking covered her face on the sofa in shame. Zhang Jingxi also touched her face with her hands, and her gentle face was also red. "No wonder my skin has become so good recently. I am still curious about the reason." At this time, Lin Zhengren came out of the bathroom and saw that the four girls were suddenly staring at him. Each one was like a wolf and a tiger, as if they were looking at a treasure they had just discovered. Lin Zhengren, what are you looking at me with? Chapter 360 Weekly Must-Dos. It was past 9 in the afternoon, and the atmosphere during breakfast was very subtle. The four girls were inexplicably silent, thinking about something. Breakfast was the nutritious seafood porridge made by He Qing. While drinking the porridge, Lin Zhengren looked at the four people and saw them peeking at him from time to time. He asked a similar question to the one he asked when he first got home, "Why do you keep looking at me?" And with that look, the four girls shook their heads like rattles. It's okay, they answered in unison. Lin Zhengren looked at the many sea cucumbers in the porridge. When did you buy these sea cucumbers? They taste good, little He Qing explained. This morning, you must have been exhausted since you didn't come back last night, so we discussed giving you some to replenish your body. There was a hint of jealousy in her words. The same was true for the others. Among the four girls, only Zhang Zuli did not express her opinion. She was startled and gave the few sea cucumbers in her bowl to Lin Zhengren. Zhengren, give it to you. Eat more. I don't need to replenish myself, Lin Zhengren. After breakfast, Lin Zhengren had nothing to do on Saturday, so he wanted to read a book on the sofa for half an hour before accompanying Lily to practice music. The girls were all sitting on the sofa accompanying Lin Zhengren. Two on each side, some were watching TV, some were playing with their phones, and the volume was turned down very low so as not to disturb the pillar of the family. However, watching TV and playing with phones were just the girls' protective colors. They exchanged glances with each other. In the end, it was decided that Han Wenwen would take the lead. Han Wenwen put down her phone, covered her shy face, and her invisible foxtail swayed. Brother Zhengren, can we discuss something with you? Lin Zhengren was flipping through the book. What is it? Just say it directly. Han Wenwen looked at Zhang Jingshi opposite her. Zhang Jingshi coughed and said gently, Zhang Zhen. Well, we have lived here for more than a week, and life is slowly getting back on track. I think we should discuss what we should do every week. Huh? Things that should be done every week. Lin Zhengren looked up at the four girls' blushing faces, and immediately understood what these guys were thinking, because they didn't dare to look at him. But he still pretended to be stupid. What do you mean specifically? Zhang Zuli interrupted with her fists clenched in a proud manner. It's business. Think about it, Zhengren, although life is not as stressful as in high school after entering college, we still stay up late from time to time, right? Staying up late is very harmful to the body, so you definitely need to make up for it. We just discussed whether we should make a nutritious meal for you every day, Lin Zhengren said. So it's just a nutritious meal. That's fine. I quite like to eat nutritious meals. Zhang Zuli pursed her lips, lowered her head and played with her twin ponytails. Right, then since you have made up for it, shouldn't we girls also make up for it? She stuttered in the second half of the sentence. Lin Zhengren deliberately acted innocent. Of course, we will eat the nutritious meal together when the time comes, and make up for it together. What nutritious meal? Zhang Zuli retorted in panic. That's not the case. I mean, she couldn't say anything. And her eyes continued to seek help from other sisters. Han Wenwen shook her foxtail and raised a slender finger to smooth things over. Nutritious porridge is a fixed supplement. We will definitely make it specifically for Brother Zhengren, so it will be useless for girls to drink it. Everyone nodded. Lin Zhengren said, Wenwen, have you forgotten that I know medicine? If you want to make nutritious porridge, I can certainly help you make food that is tonic for both men and women. Han Wenwen blinked her fox eyes, forgetting that Brother Zhengren knew medicine. Zhang Jingshi interrupted, seriously, Zheng, I suddenly thought of something. The cosmetics for the four of us cost a lot of money a month, especially the ones I used before were very expensive. I didn't feel it before, but now I feel it's a bit of a waste after a year. If I save this money, I can do a lot of things. The other three girls took the opportunity to nod. Well, we all want to save money. Lin Zhengren smiled. Jingshi, you don't seem to wear makeup that often, right? Besides, it's okay to spend a little. I don't mind spending money, and isn't it normal for girls to buy some cosmetics? Lin Zhengren shook the book in his hand. Like me, I also spent a lot of money on books. Zhang Jingshi bit her red lips. Everyone wants to save as much as possible. Books cannot be saved, but cosmetics can be. This stuff is not good for the skin. She looked at Lin Zhengren shyly. Isn't it, Zheng? I said. You don't have to save if I say so. and good cosmetics are harmless to the skin. I'll buy you the good ones. Zhang Jingshi looked at Lin Zhengren like a little complaining woman. Bad Zhang, don't fall for it. Just when the situation was at a loss, He Qing suddenly stood up from the sofa, her small hands clenched in front of her nervously, her face flushed. I think we don't need to beat around the bush with Lin Zhengren, let's just say it directly. She looked at everyone looking at her, and little He Qing stared at everyone's eyes and looked at Lin Zhengren. Lin Zhengren, in fact, we girls are also eager for that kind of thing. No, it shouldn't be said to be eager, it should be said that we are very eager. Because everyone likes you very much. We all want to have sex with you, and we all want to be fucked by you. The moment little He Qing said it, everyone was shocked, and their eyes widened. All of them opened their mouths in shame with their cheeks flushed. They had never thought that He Qing would say it so bluntly and so explicitly. Little He Qing said softly with her eyes closed, plus, when one said this morning that her skin would get better after having sex with you. Girls can't resist the idea of having better skin. So everyone is discussing that, in addition to running away on their own, should each girl have at least 2 or 3 times a week? You decide the number, but it must be there. Otherwise, everyone will keep thinking about this and won't be able to do anything else. What do you think? What do you think, Lin Zhengren? Of course, you can also make various requests to us, and everyone will agree. After she finished speaking, Lin Zhengren stared at little He Qing in surprise. The living room was quiet. Deathly silent. All the girls covered their faces and lowered their heads, not wanting to see anyone. Although they were boyfriends and girlfriends, they still felt ashamed from the bottom of their hearts to talk about this kind of thing so openly, and how many times a week they should talk about it. They wanted to find a hole to crawl into. Lin Zhengren laughed when he heard this. This stupid girl was still very aggressive at the critical moment, and he couldn't pretend to be stupid in public. Well, of course this kind of thing is possible. After all, this is the origin of life, a great thing. His sublimation made everyone feel even more embarrassed. Lin Zhengren, then according to my idea, except for each of you sneaking out or maybe I get excited occasionally, we don't need to set a number of times in public. I don't like restrictions. Just 1 day per week for each person. And then the specific number of times of intimacy on that day is up to my mood. How about it? Although everyone was shy, they were still willing. This was their suggestion. The little chicken pecking at rice nodded quickly. Zhang Zuli looked at the other party with one eye and asked hesitantly, then let's start from today. Who is it today? How to rotate? We can't make a sign for you and you turn it over, right? Han Wenwen looked at Lin Zhengren jealously. If you turn over the sign, wouldn't Brother Zhengren be the same as the emperor in ancient times? Lin Zhengren was ashamed. I'm not interested in turning over the sign. Let's draw lots. After a moment, Lin Zhengren found a piece of paper and tore it into 4 parts. Today is just a temporary one. I will make a special sign and draw it every day. You choose the slip. The 4 girls quickly took one each, opened it and nervously looked to see if there was a mark on it. Lin Zhengren asked, who is it? Zhang Jingshi blushed and raised the slip in her hand, saying gently, today it's me, He Qing. Zhang Zuli and Han Wenwen looked envious. Lin Zhengren stood up and took Zhang Jingshi's hand. Let's go. You guys are just chatting and I'm thinking about it. Don't call me and Jingshi for lunch at noon. Everyone watched the 2 of them holding hands and went to the 2nd floor, each with their mouths open and jealous. Zhang Jingshi bit her lower lip in delight and followed Lin Zhengren upstairs step by step. Chapter 361 The second miss begins to act. 1 week after using the lottery system. This morning, in the counselor's office of Tsinghua University and Peking University, Zhang Jingshi, wearing high heels, half-frame glasses and a 3/4 skirt, sat at her workstation. While she had nothing to do in the morning, she picked up a small mirror on the table and carefully observed her mental state. Her slender white fingers rubbed her skin. Yesterday, she happened to be drawn again in the lottery, and she did the same thing with Zhang for half an afternoon. When she woke up this morning, she felt energetic, her skin was as smooth as a baby's, and her whole body was relaxed. I have to say this is too magical. It's better than any big-name cosmetics. She grinned slightly. It can even whiten teeth, she whispered to herself, and the female teacher next door looked envious. Teacher Zhang, I've always been curious, what cosmetics do you use? Your skin has always been so good. Zhang Jingshi heard the perfunctory words. It's nothing, but I've tried to go to bed early recently, so I look better. Is that so? Is the effect of going to bed early so good? The female teacher next door was curious. Jiang Jingshi thought to herself that of course it wasn't that good. But it was not just her skin that improved. Wenwen and Lily told everyone about what happened with Zhang last week. After careful observation, she found that her skin texture, mental state, fatigue the day before, even dandruff, foot pain from wearing high heels for a long time, poor stomach, loss of appetite, insomnia and other small problems, all improved immediately. To be honest, after discussing it with the three sisters, they were all shocked. They didn't know why it was so magical. Wenwen even proposed a theory. Do you think Brother Zhengren is the pure yang body in the novel? The kind that girls will benefit from after applying it. Otherwise, it can't be explained by the saying that Brother Zhengren is a doctor, right? It's just like a peerless tonic. Everyone thought that it must have little to do with being a doctor. There are many boys who are doctors in the world. Is it like this? I have never heard of it. Even if Lin Zhengren is a superb doctor, he can't be so good. Wenwen's statement is more appropriate. Otherwise, why would there be such a saying as a pure yang body? But no matter what the reason is, the facts are in front of us. Zheng, he is indeed a unique treasure for girls. Thinking of this, Jiang Jingshi felt that she missed him a little. She took out her mobile phone and checked the time. Zheng should not be out of class at this time, so she went to see him. She stood up with the information and greeted the female teacher next to her. I'll go see the students in our class. The female teacher nodded. Jiang Jingshi pushed her half-frame glasses with her hand, stepped on her high heels and quickened her pace to the large classroom where Lin Zhengren was taking classes. She slowed down her pace when she got closer, and secretly watched his state of class through the window. Lin Zhengren was not listening to the class, but reading a book that others could not understand as usual. The mobile phone in her pocket suddenly rang, which scared Jiang Jingshi. She looked up and found that Zheng had discovered her. He looked at him gently and awkwardly, and smiled at her. Lin Zhengren was also smiling in the classroom. She picked up the phone and answered the call. Her tone more serious. Hello? What's up, Pan Lin? Pan Lin said, Mr. Zhang, sorry to bother you. I saw the personal list you sent me this month. Why did you remove all the cosmetics and skincare products? I saw that you only added lipstick and eyeshadow. You didn't give it to me wrongly, did you? Jiang Jingshi smiled and replied, no, save the money for skincare products in the future. You don't have to buy those expensive skincare products for me. Just buy the ones I told you to buy above. Oh, okay. But Mr. Zhang, you didn't quarrel with Mr. Lin, did you? Pan Lin felt that Mr. Zhang even gave up the skincare that he had always insisted on. For women, there's always a feeling of self-abandonment. As a result, Jiang Jingshi asked back, what are you thinking about? How could Zhang and I quarrel? Just do what I say. I just feel good recently, so I don't think skincare products are necessary. Pan Lin was relieved when she heard the tone. That's good, I know. After she finished the call, she looked at Lin Zhengren for a while longer. To others, it seemed like the instructor was checking discipline. But to a certain sister in the classroom, this is almost like the behavior of a nympho. Jiang Jin listened to the teacher's words on the podium with a cold face, and glanced casually outside the classroom. She was curious why her sister came again. Even if Lin Zhengren was her boyfriend, she didn't have to come over to see him every now and then. She snorted unhappily. Fang Meng, who was sitting next to her, also saw the young lady outside the corridor and smiled. However, Jiang Jingshi left the corridor soon. Even if she liked her, she couldn't look at her for too long, otherwise she would be easily discovered. Fang Meng whispered to Jiang Jin at this time, Qianqian, I have completed the investigation of the last one, Han Wenwen, but Han Wenwen doesn't quite accept talking to me, which may waste some time. Jiang Jin didn't say anything, just hummed. It's okay, take your time. Fang Meng saw a hint of joy in Jiang Jin's cold expression, and was curious. Qianqian, you look in a good mood today. Jiang Jin pursed her lips slightly, and her cheeks blushed when she thought of the accident last week. It's okay. Anyway, you think of a way to talk to Han Wenwen, and tell me after all the investigations are done. Qianqian, don't worry, I'll do it as soon as possible. During the break in the morning class, the three little ones who were sitting with Lin Zhengren in the distance, Han Wenwen took Xiao Heqing's arm and asked with a smile, Xiao Qing, Lily, do you want to go to the bathroom together? Xiao Heqing replied, okay. Jiang Zuli stood up. Let's go together, the three said to Lin Zhengren that we will be back soon and left the classroom together. Lin Zhengren continued to flip through the book. Not far away, Jiang Jin lowered her head to write notes. After the three little ones left, she slowly raised her head and looked at the three people who left. Sure enough, I haven't looked for classmate Lin Suhengren for such a long time, and the three of them are not so wary of me, and their vigilance has decreased a lot. Coupled with the accident last week, it seems that the goddess of luck is on my side. Slowly standing up, with long hair draped over her shoulders, she walked through the classroom gracefully and came to Lin Suhengren. Student Lin Suhengren. Lin Suhengren looked up at the voice. Jiang Jin. Jiang Jin's cold face was calm, but her slightly curled fingers betrayed her emotions. What you said last week counts. Lin Suhengren smiled. Of course it counts. I owe you a favor. Jiang Jin felt relieved when she heard it counted, and the coldness on her face was reduced a little. You said you don't owe me, it's just a meal together. When are you free this week? I'll prepare it. Let's do it tonight. I don't have anything to do tonight. Tonight? Okay. I'll book the place. See you tonight. See you then. The two looked at each other and smiled at each other. Let's go, Jiang Jin said and turned around neatly, her eyes happy and shy. What should I wear tonight when I can date classmate Lin Suhengren? Chapter 362, Moved. At the entrance of the girls' restroom, Han Wenwen came out first after using her toilet because He Qing and Zhang Zuli were slower. Qing, Lily, you two hurry up, I'll be waiting for you outside. Who knew that when they were washing their hands, Feng Meng appeared beside them and said seriously, Han Wenwen, can I give you a chance to talk to me alone? I'll ask you a few questions and you answer them truthfully. As a reward, you can also ask me some questions or ask me to do something within my ability. Feng Meng had offered rewards when she interviewed He Qing and Zhang Zuli before, but Han Wenwen, this woman, or this fox, was not easy to deal with, because Han Wenwen seemed to have no interest in anything except Lin Suhengren, and the trick of Lin Suhengren's photo had already been used. She didn't know as much about other things about Lin Suhengren as Han Wenwen. So she couldn't offer a strong reward at the moment, which was also the reason why she couldn't talk to Han Wenwen smoothly. Han Wenwen, who was washing her hands, looked at Feng Meng with her fox eyes, examining her. You are here again? I won't say anything. I don't want to answer your questions. She smoothed her bangs in front of the mirror with her hand. Although we are classmates in high school, I have to say that I am quite narrow-minded and have no desire to talk to my rival. Feng Meng looked at the beautiful and charming Han Wenwen, wanting to ask something but unable to. Han Wenwen guessed the other party's question. I know you are thinking now, if I am so narrow-minded, why am I so close to Xiao Qingqing, Lily and Sister Zhang? Isn't this in conflict with what I said? I can still answer this question for you. Han Wenwen turned and stared at Feng Meng, because the things between us cannot be explained in a few words, and Brother Zhengren's will is greater than mine. If there is a conflict between my ideas and Brother Zhengren, then I will definitely listen to Brother Zhengren. Do you understand? Feng Meng nodded. Compared with He Qing and Zhang Zuli, I can see that your mind is much more complicated. To be honest, based on my observation of your character, I was surprised that you can accept that classmate Lin Suhengren is so fickle. Han Wenwen smiled. I was also surprised at the time, so just give up talking to me. I won't answer any of your questions. Even if you say that, I won't give up. As I said, as long as you agree to my inquiries, I can meet any of your requests. I hope you can consider it carefully. Really? Han Wenwen raised her lips. If I tell you that I want you to never like my brother Zhengren again in this life, and never have any thoughts about him, can you satisfy me? If you can, I will agree to your interview. Feng Meng's eyes trembled slightly. This fox is indeed the most difficult one among the few. If He Qing and Zhang Zuli found out that they liked Lin Suhengren because they were exposed, then Han Wenwen obviously noticed it early on. Just look at her eyes. I'm sorry, this is the only thing I can't agree to. Liking someone is not determined by my thoughts, I guess so. Han Wenwen retracted her gaze, took out a small pack of toilet paper from her pocket, took out a piece and wiped the water stains on her hands, then forget it. Soon Zhang Zuli and He Qing came out of the bathroom, and greeted Feng Meng after seeing her. They washed their hands together and left together. Feng Meng looked at the three people going away, and suddenly thought of something and shouted, "Wait!" The three turned around, and Han Wenwen looked at Feng Meng unexpectedly. Feng Meng sorted out his thoughts and said, Han Wenwen, you are the only one who knows the answer, right? Have you guessed the purpose of my interview and the answer I want? That's why you don't want to talk to me, afraid that I will find out. Han Wenwen was surprised, but soon smiled. Maybe. Anyway, don't even think about getting news about Brother Zhengren from me. There is no possibility. He Qing and Zhang Zuli were confused, not knowing what the two were talking about. Fang Meng said seriously, "It seems that there is really no hope for interviewing you, but I will definitely find the answer to the question in the end." Han Wenwen snorted with a smile, "Then you can find it. Don't blame me for not reminding you. It's useless even if you find it, because you have already lost since you started to focus on finding this matter." There was a deep meaning in those fox eyes. Fang Meng frowned tightly, became more curious about what it was, and became more determined. In the end, Fang Meng bowed to Han Wenwen and turned away. After Fang Meng left, Han Wenwen also frowned slightly. "This Fang Meng is much more difficult than I thought, no worse than Zhang Jin." Little He Qing opened her mouth. "Wenwen, what are you talking about?" "Zhang Zuli, little fox, what were you and Fang Meng discussing just now?" So serious, Han Wenwen looked at her good sisters and smacked her lips and said, "Xiao Qing and Lily, you two are really not vigilant. You two should know now that Fang Meng likes brother Zhangren, right?" The two nodded. Han Wenwen took Xiao He Qing's arm. "Then do you know why she interviewed you?" The two shook their heads. Little He Qing raised her hand. "I know, it was classmate Zhang Jin who asked her to interview." Han Wenwen was embarrassed, raised a finger and explained, "That's not the point. In fact, it's because Fang Meng is looking for the common points between the four of us. She is looking for the reason why brother Zhangren is attracted to us. If she can find it, then brother Zhangren will be in danger." The two girls were surprised. "Ah. So that's the case, Little He Qing, but even I don't know what Lin Zhangren is attracted to." "Wenwen, do you know?" Han Wenwen smiled meaningfully. "Of course I know. It's actually very simple, and it's a place that is easily overlooked." Zhang Zuli was about to ask what it was, and suddenly realized that she had asked Zhangren this question just last week. Raised her hand. "I think I know it too. Because I asked Zhangren this question last week, asking her why she liked me." His answer really surprised me. Little He Qing panicked. "Ah. You two know it? What is it?" "I really don't know." Zhang Zuli covered her mouth and whispered something in Little He Qing's ear. After hearing this, Little He Qing blushed at first, then sighed. "It's so simple, but not all girls have it." Zhang Zuli crossed her arms and shook her head. "Not really, although I thought so at the time, but Zhangren told me that this trait is very rare in girls, and he has seen too many girls, so this makes him particularly moved. If you think about it carefully, this trait is indeed rare in reality, but we all have it, so we thought we all have it," Han Wenwen said vigilantly. "So the two of you accepted Fang Meng's interview at the time without caring. What if she guessed it? You can stand it once or twice, but can brother Zhangren stand it for a long time?" "There are still 2 vacancies, Little He Qing nodded. "That's right. Fang Meng and Lin Zhangren are engaged as children. If she knew this, Lin Zhangren would always be moved after a long time. After all, Fang Meng is so beautiful, and Lin Zhangren is so fickle, and she can also go to Lin Zhangren's house often with the identity of the child engagement." Zhang Zuli's body was suddenly stunned. "I suddenly realized. If this is the case, Fang Meng and Zhang Jin have known Zhangren for quite some time, 3 years already. And they all fit the profile. Does that mean Zhangren is actually a little attracted to them?" A hint of jealousy appeared on Han Wenwen's face. "That's right. Otherwise why do you think Zhangren would respond to them when they were chatting with him out of all the girls in the school? He would reject other girls when they talked to him, and I guess he himself is not very aware of this." Little He Qing clenched her fists, her voice soft and nervous. "Then we have to be more cautious. We can't let them succeed. We have to keep an eye on Lin Zhangren. 4 is too many. If there are 6, Lin Zhangren will be exhausted." Han Wenwen and Zhang Zuli blushed, knowing what Little He Qing meant. Nodded. As soon as she finished speaking and returned to the classroom, Lin Zhangren mentioned that he was going out to eat with Zhang Jin in the evening. Chapter 363 Bracelet. The 4 of them were all shocked. Did the other party act so quickly? Lin Zhangren sat there casually and continued to read the book. "Don't worry, I will go back after dinner." Zhang Zuli was puzzled. "No, why do you want to go to dinner?" Lin Zhangren looked up and explained, "It has something to do with Uncle Jiang's matter." He explained the details of the product last week, and Zhang Zuli realized that it was because of her. Lin Zhangren put down the book. "That's what happened, so he asked for a meal." You can't refuse such a small request. Zhang Zuli felt that she had no say at once. The 3 girls sat next to Lin Zhangren. Han Wenwen held Lin Zhangren's arm, and said with a little jealousy, "If that's the case, Zhang Jin knew about Uncle's factory and helped us without saying a word." Little He Qing frowned slightly after hearing the reason. and she helped without asking for anything in return. She invited Lin Sehengren to dinner after helping him, so it's okay for Lin Sehengren to refuse. She gave Lin Sehengren the right to choose. She has been very considerate of Lin Sehengren. Han Wenwen leaned her head on Lin Sehengren's arm, thinking about what happened just now, thinking that even so, this invitation is a bit like a date. Since eating is inevitable, some measures must be taken. The little fox suddenly had an idea, and the invisible fox ears fluttered. Got it. Brother Sehengren, can you try not to sit side by side with Jiang Jin when eating? It's okay to sit opposite each other, but not side by side. Well, of course I won't sit side by side, just eating normally. Han Wenwen smiled and nodded, then rummaged through her bag, found a small mirror, and used the hairpin to snap off the lens. Holding the sharp lens in her hand, no one else knew what Han Wenwen was going to do. Han Wenwen waved the lens in her hand and said, Brother Sehengren's dinner today is a business dinner. He went there with the help of others. As girlfriends, we are a little jealous of this kind of thing, but we can't interfere. After all, as a big boss, Brother Sehengren will have many such things in the future. It's impossible for Brother Sehengren to never have dinner with any woman again in the rest of his life, right? That would mean we can't even talk about business, but then again, classmate Jiang Jin is a love rival anyway, and we definitely can't do nothing. So, Han Wenwen used the lens to cut off a strand of her fox hair, that is, her hair. She rubbed it with her hands to make a bracelet, then applied lipstick on her lips and bit the bracelet made of her hair. A bright lipstick color was added to it. At the end of the bracelet, Han Wenwen took out a mini fox tail from her bag as a substitute. A homemade temporary fox bracelet was completed. Han Wenwen looked at Lin Sehengren. Dang dang. Brother Sehengren, stretch out your hand. I'll tie it for you. You can take it off when you go home in the evening. This will prove that we agree that Brother Sehengren and Jiang Jin can have dinner together, but we are still wary of Jiang Jin. After all, Brother Sehengren is our boyfriend, and we have to declare our sovereignty. Lin Sehengren smiled and stretched out his hand, sighing that this fox really has a lot of tricks. And where did this furry little foxtail come from? Han Wenwen saw Lin Sehengren's doubts and replied, I passed by a store before and bought a lot of little tails because they looked fun. Isn't it useful? Okay. Then tie it for me. Jiang Zuli and He Qing saw Wenwen tying a bracelet for Lin Sehengren and thought it was a good idea. They could declare their sovereignty without disturbing Lin Sehengren's dinner. So they followed Han Wenwen's idea. Little He Qing took off the rubber band on her head, kissed it, and put it on Lin Sehengren's wrist. Jiang Zuli glanced at the skirt she was wearing, borrowed Han Wenwen's lens, cut a piece of cloth from an inconspicuous position on the hem of the skirt, and used her little tiger teeth to bite a tooth mark as a totem. It was also made into a bracelet and tied to Lin Sehengren's wrist. The three girls looked at the three bracelets on his wrist and said in unison, Remember to go home early after dinner tonight. Lin Sehengren replied, Got it. In the afternoon, Jiang Jingshi also learned about this and learned that her sister was going to date Lin Sehengren. So after listening to the sister's methods, she also quietly went to a deserted place. A girl met Lin Sehengren near the sports locker room. Jiang Jingshi boldly cut off the buckle strap of her underwear and tied it to Lin Sehengren's palm as a bracelet. This brand of underwear is what she has always worn. It is estimated that Jiang Jin can tell at a glance that it is her sister's buckle. Jiang Jingshi held the clothes above one side of her chest to prevent the underwear without a buckle strap from falling down. Gently said, Go home early in the evening, don't chat with Kyankian for too long. Lin Sehengren kissed Jiang Jingshi's lips. Don't worry, Jiang Jingshi bit her lip shyly, then the teacher will go to the locker room to change into new underwear. Classmate Lin Sehengren, go and get busy. There were no classes in the afternoon, and it was evening in the blink of an eye. In a private dressing room, Jiang Jin sat in front of the makeup mirror. The makeup artists around were carefully applying light makeup to Jiang Jin and combing her long hair. Although these details are insignificant, for someone, no details of tonight's dinner party can be missed. Jiang Jin looked at herself in the mirror and asked, Is this brand the same as my sister's? The makeup artist nodded, Yes, it's the same as the eldest lady's. It's customized according to your skin condition, and the proportion of raw materials is slightly different. Jiang Jin was a little confused, but didn't ask much. My sister's skin has only improved recently, and so have those girls. If I use the same cosmetics as my sister, it can only prove that Lin Sehengren has some unique way to make their skin better. He can do anything. The makeup artist asked, Second miss, what do you want to wear tonight? Here are several sets for you, some formal and some casual, all on the right." Jiang Jin turned her head to look at the clothes, some long, some short, some gorgeous, some ordinary, with a variety of styles. Jiang Jin was silent for a moment, looking at one of the skirts. "That one, just change the color to black." "Black? This skirt is not as good looking in black as in white." "Just listen to me," the makeup artist compromised. "Well, second Mrs. Appearance actually looks good with anything, so I'll ask someone to change it to black for you." Since she was going to meet Lin Sehengren, Jiang Jin had to wear her favorite color and show her most beautiful side in front of him. This was her philosophy of chasing boys. To let the other person see the real you, and like the real you. Outside the door, Feng Meng walked in. "Qianqian, I asked the restaurant again, and the dishes are foolproof." Jiang Jin looked at Feng Meng, who came in through the mirror. "Got it. How is your investigation?" "You said the investigation was over this afternoon." "Yes." Feng Meng stood beside Jiang Jin, looking at Qianqian, who is extremely delicate tonight. "Han Wenwen can't be investigated anymore. She guessed the purpose of our interview, but even if there are only He Qing, Zhang Zuli and the eldest lady, the materials are enough. I will analyze their similarities and differences tonight, and find the key to make Lin Sehengren's heart move as soon as possible." Jiang Jin's mouth twitched slightly, and she looked at herself in the mirror. "I must get him, no matter what." Chapter 364 Evening Dress. Hulin Restaurant is a high-end restaurant near the city center. The food is expensive, the decoration is gorgeous, and the reservation time is long. It is said that all the dishes are freshly airlifted from all over the world. The 7th floor of the restaurant is the best and most expensive place in the entire restaurant. It is said that users who dine on this floor can see the most prosperous scene of the city at night, through the floor-to-ceiling windows. Many wealthy people come here for its reputation. This is how Lin Sehengren's driver introduced it when he was on the way to the restaurant. After getting off the car, the clerk standing at the door in work clothes quickly came to greet him. Although most of the bosses who come to this place to eat have drivers, there are also many wealthy people who take taxis or even ride bicycles to eat. No one dared to ask, so they just ignored him without asking. "Hello, sir, are you here to dine? Do you have a reservation?" Lin Sehengren hummed. "I'm here to dine. My last name is Lin, Mr. Lin. Please follow me." The clerk took Lin Sehengren to the elevator when he heard the last name. When he entered the elevator and saw the staff pressed the 7th floor, Lin Sehengren realized that Jiang Jin must have spent a lot of money today and was right about what the driver said. "Excuse me, when I came here, the taxi driver told me that you have to make a reservation at least 3 days in advance to eat here. Is that true?" "Well, yes, because our restaurant has been open for more than 10 years and we are still very grateful to the bosses for taking care of us. Business is good, and many people come to eat, so reservations are required." Lin Sehengren told Jiang Jin in the morning about having dinner tonight, and she didn't have time to make a reservation at all. "What if I want to skip the reservation?" The clerk smiled and said, "I'm afraid that's not possible. We never have such a rule here. Otherwise, it will be very troublesome if we make an exception. However, if the person who made a reservation on that day has something to do and doesn't come to eat, the bosses can negotiate and replace it." "That's right, I understand." Arriving at the 7th floor, the elevator door opened, and the staff took Lin Sehengren to a large private room in the middle. He made a gesture of invitation. "Please come in." There was also a beautiful waitress half bowed at the door of the private room. At a glance, there was one at the door of all the private rooms. It was similar to customized service of one waiter per private room. "Hello, sir, I am the waiter of this private room. I will always be waiting at the door. You can call me at any time if you have anything while you are eating or waiting for your meal." Lin Sehengren slowly stretched out his hand to push open the door of the private room, and the spacious, bright and gorgeous private room came into view. The decoration in the private room is similar to that in the hall, with many artworks and paintings, and some flowers next to it. Although it is a place to eat, the table as the theme is not too big compared to the decoration, but because of the clever setting, it does not seem to dominate the room, which makes people feel comfortable. One wall of the private room is a huge floor-to-ceiling window, from which you can really overlook the entire city. And next to the floor-to-ceiling window, Jiang Jin, wearing a black evening dress, stood there elegantly. Her dress tonight was not gorgeous, it was a slim and simple evening dress, but such a simple style looked noble and beautiful under Jiang Jin's cold face, and the dress perfectly set off the girl's figure and appearance. The young and delicate profile stared out the window, and when she turned back after hearing the voice, her cold eyes looked at Lin Zhengren, who was standing at the door. "You're here," she said lightly. Lin Zhengren had thought that Jiang Jin would dress up tonight, but it was beyond Lin Zhengren's expectation that she would dress so formally. Walking forward, the waiter closed the door of the private room. Lin Zhengren, who was wearing casual clothes, said, "I changed my clothes on purpose. I should have worn a suit earlier." Jiang Jin turned around, her high heels making a simple clicking sound. "You look very handsome in this outfit. There's no need to wear a suit. It's just an ordinary meal." Lin Zhengren looked at Jiang Jin tonight and said with a smile, "I can't tell that this is just an ordinary meal. You even changed into an evening gown." Jiang Jin remained calm. "After all, I still want to show my most beautiful side in front of you and leave a good impression on you." She walked to the dining table. "Sit down and talk." Lin Zhengren nodded and praised, "But you are really beautiful today." Jiang Jin paused, holding on to the chair, her cheeks slightly red. "Thank you. With your words, my dress up tonight is worth it." Lin Zhengren smiled and sat down with Jiang Jin. Before sitting down, Lin Zhengren asked curiously, "I feel that your high heels look pretty good in you. Do you wear them normally?" Jiang Jin stared at Lin Zhengren. "I don't wear them often. Sometimes I wear them when I attend some important occasions with my sister." "I see. I should say you are worthy of it. Your appearance and posture are almost perfect. You are completely different in this dress from the you in school." "It's the same with my sister. After my parents started the business, in order not to embarrass the family, my sister and I learned a lot of etiquette over the years, and gradually got used to it." "That's really hard, but Jing, she does the same as you when she goes to the company." Jiang Jin saw the 4 different bracelets on Lin Zhengren's hand, especially the one on her sister. It was made of the buckle strap of underwear. Jiang Jin frowned slightly, as if she was warning herself, but there was no need to care. In the past 20 years, she has never lost to anyone except Lin Zhengren, especially her sister. "Let's eat," she said. "Okay," she called the waiter, and soon the dishes began to be served one by one. There was also red wine. Lin Zhengren smiled at the wine poured by the staff and clinked glasses with Jiang Jin. The dinner tonight was very quiet. Jiang Jin didn't say much throughout the whole meal. Her personality wouldn't let her say much. Lin Zhengren didn't say much either. He just wanted to quietly taste such delicious dishes. Jiang Jin didn't swallow the food in her mouth until she was almost at the end of the meal. She talked about a very unexpected topic. "Lin Zhengren, recently a new company in Yongquan City near us has become very popular. The other party is called ZIAO Entertainment. It does a similar business to ours. It cleverly combines the characteristics of Jiang Group and Zhangxi Company to form a unique self-production line. I originally thought it was just a copycat, but I didn't expect the other party to have such a big momentum and strong ability." She looked up. "Although it is not yet half of the level of either of our 2 companies, the level of development is terrifying and cannot be ignored." Lin Zhengren knew that Jiang Jin would not talk about this kind of thing for no reason. "You continue." Jiang Jin put down the cutlery. "The current vice president of this company, who is also the person who showed up, is called Zhang Yang, but I don't know why my people can't find his past information. They only know that he is a man in his 20s. I inexplicably have a bad feeling. You and sister should be careful recently." Lin Zhengren smiled and nodded, and kept it in mind. "I know, but you said the vice president is Zhang Yang. Then who is the boss of this company?" "I don't know. I only found out that it's a woman, but like Zhang Yang, I can't find any specific information. But it is said that this person knows everything. In the early days of Chaoxi Entertainment, she single-handedly trained a large number of elite middle-level managers. She is good at live broadcasting, sports, and music." After hearing these 3 key words, Lin Zhengren took another bite of the food. "Then it's exactly the same as what Zhangxi Company does. Is the other company hostile to us?" "That's not the case. Although we do the same thing, I don't know why she always avoids us, as if she deliberately avoids conflict with us. This is also what I find strange and has a bad premonition about, and why I didn't discover it until now. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 365 Gifts and Boss. Avoiding us on purpose. Well, I discovered this company a few days ago. They had been operating quietly before, But now they are getting bigger and bigger, so they can't hide it anymore. Lin's Hengren put down his cutlery after finishing the last bite of the dish. Jiang Jin looked at him with curiosity and said, "How was the meal tonight?" Lin's Hengren felt that Jiang Jin was really jumping around with topics, and praised him. "Very good. This restaurant is expensive for a reason, especially, these dishes are basically all my favorites." Jiang Jin took a sip of wine and looked at Lin's Hengren coldly. "What a coincidence, I also like them." Jiang Jin herself is not picky about food. She always thinks that as long as the chef is good, any food can be delicious. So since she learned about Lin's Hengren's favorite food, Jiang Jin's taste in food has become similar to Lin's Hengren's. Because she also learns to eat like him every day, it is not false that she likes it too. There was a knock at the door. Jiang Jin said, "Come in." The lobby manager came up with a set of desserts. "Dear guests, I am the manager of our restaurant. In view of your consumption tonight, we will give you a set of desserts for free. They are all carefully prepared by our chefs. Please enjoy them." Jiang Jin had no expression, and Lin's Hengren said thank you. The two cut a piece with a knife and fork and put it in their mouths. The dessert tasted really rich, and it was not too sweet. There was still a lingering aftertaste. "Jiang Jin, it tastes good." The lobby manager nodded, "Thank you." While eating the dessert, Lin's Hengren accidentally looked at the scenery outside the French window. The lobby manager said with a smile, "If the two guests had come a month earlier, they would have seen the flower bed." Lin's Hengren was curious. "Flower bed?" The lobby manager pointed to a dark shadow in the city. "That's the place. In summer, there will be many colorful flowers here, and there will be fountain performances at night. It is very famous here. It is a famous confession holy place. It is said that couples who confess there can be together forever." Lin's Hengren looked at the dark circular position and didn't care. There are still many legends of couples being together forever all over the world. Basically, they are for publicity. Han Wenwen was sick in junior high school and talked in her sleep. She mentioned that there are also in the south. He casually replied, "Really? That's really magical." But Jiang Jin was looking at the dark place and took Lin's Hengren's words to heart. "Magical?" Lin's Hengren actually said this place is magical. "Will couples who confess in this place really be together forever?" she asked the manager coldly. The lobby manager laughed when he heard this. "Of course it's true. Everyone says it's very effective, otherwise it wouldn't be so famous. It's just a pity. This place is going to be demolished soon." He smiled helplessly. "They said it would be changed into an art signpost. It probably won't be seen next year, so I told you two guests to come earlier." Jiang Jin frowned. "Tear it down? Why?" The lobby manager explained. "It's said to hinder urban development. The area of this flower bed is not small, and it's close to the road, so it's understandable to tear it down for the safety of tourists, but it's true that a beautiful attraction is missing." Lin's Hengren stared at the place and whispered, "That's really a pity." Jiang Jin listened to what Lin's Hengren said, then looked at the flower bed in the dark again, pursed her lips and seemed to be thinking about something. "If you confess in this place, you can be with a person you like for the rest of your life." Tonight's dinner ended, which was particularly ordinary. Jiang Jin and Lin's Hengren walked downstairs side by side, looking at the prosperous and bright city. "Jiang Jin, that's it for tonight. Thank you for coming out to dinner tonight." "What's there to thank me for?" Lin's Hengren took out a delicate little box from his arms and handed it to Jiang Jin. "Here, I'll give you a gift." Jiang Jin looked at the small box in Lin's Hengren's hand in a daze. "Gift?" She was a little unbelievable. "For me?" "Lin's Hengren, you helped me last week. Originally, I should have treated you to this meal, but in the afternoon you told me the location and I called here, but the other party said you had already paid. So I thought I'd give you a gift instead, as a thank you gift. I made it myself." Jiang Jin was stunned, her cold eyes swaying. "I made it myself." She took it with both hands and stared at the box in a daze. "Can I open it and see what's inside?" "Of course." Jiang Jin slowly untied the ribbon on it and carefully opened the box, only to see a delicate piano model inside the box. Although the piano is small, it is full of details, gorgeous and exquisite, with all the necessary parts. Jiang Jin couldn't help but sigh. "What a beautiful craftsmanship. Such a complicated model was made by you yourself." For Lin's Hengren, any complicated thing can be made quickly as long as the materials are available. When he made this gift in the afternoon, he also added a little spiritual energy to it. Putting it in the bedroom can more or less calm people down and relax. "Well, it just looks complicated, but it's very simple to make." Jiang Jin held it like a treasure, her cheeks flushed. Thank you. I will cherish it. Lin Zhangren said goodbye, then I'm leaving. I had a great meal tonight. I will also keep in mind what you said and pay attention to it. Bye. Zhang Jin looked up, and her usual cold tone would only add a little tenderness to him. Bye. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Lin Zhangren took a taxi and left. Zhang Jin kept watching Lin Zhangren disappear at the end of the intersection, and then lowered her head to look at the exquisite piano model again. The corners of her mouth unconsciously raised a happy smile, and her pupils flickered. I'm so happy that he made a gift for me personally. Half an hour ago, on a street in this bustling city, an Audi was driving on the street. A man in a suit was propping his head up with his hands in the back seat. The driver and the co-pilot were both sitting there. The driver laughed and said, Boss Yang, we have another deal tonight. Our boss is really amazing. After her training, we have been doing very well recently, the co-pilot also said. Although our boss is young, she is a real genius in all aspects. The man in the back seat reminded the driver, don't call me boss like before. I'll say it again. Change your bad habits. Don't be so rude in your words and don't cause trouble for me and the boss. Otherwise, I won't know which one to answer. The driver subconsciously slapped himself in the face and was a little scared. Sorry, I forgot to call you boss again. The co-pilot was also sweating and didn't dare to speak. The Audi slowly stopped at the intersection. The man got out of the car, and the driver and the co-pilot got out too. They walked to the end before they saw figures. The man in the lead, Zhang Yang, nodded respectfully when he saw the woman. Boss. The two people behind him also shouted, Good evening, boss. The woman slowly walked out from the shadows. Her long silver-white hair draped over her shoulders was particularly eye-catching. The beautiful young face looked at the man expressionlessly. How is the business going recently? Zhang Yang smiled. No problem, don't worry. He handed the folder in his hand to the other party. This is what you asked me to bring. The company's business has been going well recently. The woman took it and looked through it carefully. I'm a little busy recently and can't go to the company as often as I do during holidays. Zhang Yang said very loyally, I will pay more attention. Have you eaten? If not, I will treat you. The other party did not look up. No, I have something to do later, so I can only come out for a short while. Zhang Yang was about to say something, but he had to nod. Then feel free to contact me if you have any questions, and I will handle them for you immediately. The woman continued to look through the documents. I don't have anything to do. Just follow my instructions and handle the tasks I assign to you. Remember, Jiang's group is not doing well recently and is developing new products. If there is a conflict with our company's business, don't cause them trouble even if we don't make money. Zhang Yang nodded. I understand. You said before that we can't mess with the business of Jiang's group and Jiangxi company even if we lose money. Just remember this. Chapter 366 Finding Similarities. The Rolls-Royce stopped at the entrance of Hulin restaurant. The door opened, and after Zhang Jin got in, the restaurant staff half bowed to Zhang Jin from a distance at the entrance. The car was driving on the brightly lit road. Since Zhang Jin went to college and lived far away from home, she couldn't go home every night, but it was inconvenient to stay in the dormitory, so she rented a house outside like Zhang Jingxi and lived with Fang Meng. Zhang Jin, who was sitting in the back seat, held the precious gift box in her hand, stared at the box for a while and looked out the window. When Fang Meng came to pick up Zhang Jin, she found the box in Zhang Jin's hand, which was obviously given to her by someone else. And the person who made Jin hold it so carefully was the only one who gave it to her. Qian, did Lin Zhangren give you a gift? Zhang Jin hummed. He gave me a small gift, a piano, and said he made it himself. Fang Meng looked at the blush on Zhang Jin's face through the rearview mirror. Although she felt jealous, she was happy for Jin. The dinner tonight seemed to go well. It went very well. Zhang Jin asked, by the way, Xiao Meng, how was your analysis of the data on them tonight? Did you get any results? Fang Meng held the steering wheel and was a little troubled when talking about this. Qian, I have sorted out the results, because it is not difficult to analyze, but it is a bit beyond my expectation. Take a look first. She picked up a notebook from the co-pilot's seat and handed the results she sorted out to Zhang Jin. Zhang Jin slowly put the gift box aside and took the data analyzed by Fang Meng. Fang Meng's thinking, logic and ability to do things are first class, so the results of her analysis are always very accurate. Open the notebook. Zhang Jin carefully read the hobbies, behaviors, habits, favorite things, and things they like to do on a daily basis of He Qing, Zhang Zuli, and Zhang Jingxi. It turned out that all of them are different. Feng Meng nodded and looked ahead. Yes, although I have thought before that their different personalities will lead to different things, but when they are really compared, I found that He Qing, Zhang Zuli and the eldest lady's behavior patterns are actually completely different. He Qing has a well-behaved personality, sweet looks, likes taekwondo and reading novels, is physically strong, likes to organize things, and has a large appetite. Zhang Zuli has a lively personality, cute looks, and a hobby of music. Her physical fitness is average. She is not very good at cooking and other housework, but she can do it. She has a medium appetite. The eldest lady has a cold personality and a warm heart. She is gentle to people. Her appearance is the absolute pinnacle. She is good at business negotiations. She has an average physical fitness and likes to make top-quality food. She has a small appetite and pays attention to nutritional matching. I have cited some obvious examples. There are many such small details, but they are all different. If you insist on saying that they are similar, it is that they are all very beautiful, not bad people, and they all know Lin Suhengren, but these points are obviously not the key to Lin Suhengren's love, because there are too many girls with these three physical qualities around him. Feng Meng glanced at Jiang Jin, and Kaianqian has these 3 points, and so do I. Which is enough to prove that they are not the key points. Jiang Jin didn't understand, how could this be? If you look at it this way, the life trajectories of these 3 people are completely different, but they can get together like this. Fate is very coincidental. Zhang Zuli and He Qing are originally from the south and the north. The reason they can become friends is all because Lin Suhengren happened to let them meet, and because they all like Lin Suhengren, they became best friends. The same is true for the eldest lady. Feng Meng emphasized, to put it simply, if there was no middleman Lin Suhengren, these 3 people would never have met in their lives, let alone know each other and become friends of this kind. Han Wenwen has been best friends with He Qing since childhood, but that girl, she continued, that girl is a little special. Although I didn't have the opportunity to interview her, I can roughly infer from my daily observations that she is also different from these 3 people. In other words, I can't find any similarities between Lin Suhengren's 4 girlfriends. Jiang Jin continued to look through the information with a cold look. From this point of view, Lin Suhengren really has a big appetite when it comes to girls. Feng Meng smiled inexplicably. Well, I once had the honor of asking Lin Suhengren what type he liked in high school. He told me at the time that he didn't have any particular type he liked, and he liked any type. At that time, I thought he was perfunctory, but it turned out that Lin Suhengren didn't lie to me. Jiang Jin looked up after reading it, but even if all the characteristics are different on the surface, there must be similarities. My sister, He Qing, Zhang Zuli, and Han Wenwen, there must be a specific thing about them that makes Lin Suhengren's heart beat, otherwise why would it be these 4? Lin Suhengren is not the type who can't find a girlfriend, and there are countless people who like him. Yes, that's true, and it is clear that Han Wenwen is very clear about this characteristic, and she even knows what the answer is. Jiang Jin closed the notebook. Can we get the answer from Han Wenwen? I'm afraid that won't work. In my opinion, Han Wenwen is the most special one among the 4. Although she has a guardian, her background information shows that she has been through her mental journey almost alone since she was a child. After falling in love with Lin Suhengren, her love for Lin Suhengren was extremely high, so high that it had long exceeded that of ordinary couples. She almost kept anything about Lin Suhengren in mind, and she could see through any of my actions at a glance, so it was impossible to get any news about Lin Suhengren from her. Jiang Jin let out a long breath and continued to look out the window. It doesn't matter, keep looking until you find the answer, okay, but there is something strange. Han Wenwen told me today. She said that if we continue to investigate, it will be useless even if we find out. I always feel that she has something to say. Jiang Jin was silent for a moment, looked back at the gift box next to her, and smiled. Don't worry, no matter what, I will not lose in this matter. I like Lin Suhengren no less than Han Wenwen likes Lin Suhengren. Yet that night, the 2 besties returned to the rental house, and Jiang Jin changed out of her evening gown and put on black pajamas. She opened the gift box Lin Suhengren sent and placed it on the pillow. She gently touched the piano model inside with her hand, and her eyes were full of love. She always slept with it in her arms. A few days passed unknowingly. It was another relaxing weekend. In the 3-story villa, Lin Suhengren woke up on the bed in the bedroom early in the morning. He couldn't move his body at all, because Jiang Jingxi was holding his arm on the left, with her face pressed against his neck. On the right, Han Wenwen was holding her arm with her face pressed against her arm. Xiao He Qing and Zhang Zuli were lying on Lin Zhengren. The four girls were used to sleeping now. And with Lin Zhengren supplementing their sleep quality, the four of them would sleep soundly every time. The only bad thing was that if Lin Zhengren wanted to get up, the four girls would definitely wake up. After all, they were hanging on him like sloths. Today was an accident. Before Lin Zhengren moved, Zhang Jingshi's long eyelashes trembled, and her eyes slowly opened. Zhang? What time is it? Chapter 367. Wenwen works as secretary. Lin Zhengren was surrounded by people and looked at the ceiling. Jingshi is awake? I can't check the time now. Zhang Jingshi looked at Lin Zhengren with her beautiful peach blossom eyes. The fact that she could see her boyfriend the first thing when she woke up every morning made this young lady feel happy. She subconsciously kissed Lin Zhengren's cheek with her red lips. Good morning, Zhang. Then I'll check the time myself. She turned around and picked up her mobile phone. Because Lin Zhengren was talking. The other three girls were also woken up with sobs in their throats. Han Wenwen frowned. Little He Qing buried her face in Lin Zhengren's belly like a kitten. Zhang Zuli half opened one eye. What time is it now? Zhang Jingshi saw the time on the phone and replied apologetically. Lily is awake too? It's 6:10. Zhang Zuli closed her half-open eyes again. Sister Zhang is awake too. 6 o'clock is so early. I want to continue sleeping. Zhang Jingshi woke up quickly. Her biological clock for many years made her not lazy in bed when she had something important to do. Looking at the three sisters sleeping in different positions, He Qing even hugged the wrong leg, holding Lin Zhengren's belly with one hand and her thigh with the other. She gently reminded He Qing, King. He Qing looked up and opened her confused eyes. Huh? What's wrong with Sister Zhang? Zhang Jingshi moved her thighs and her face was slightly red. Untie sister's legs, I have to get up. He Qing realized that she was holding the wrong one, and quickly let go of that hand, a little embarrassed. Sorry. I don't know when. It's okay. Lin Zhengren turned his head and looked at Zhang Jingshi in silk pajamas. Her pajamas were very smooth and loose. Because girls don't wear underwear when they sleep. So Lin Zhengren can clearly see something from his direction. You get up now? Do you have something to do today? Lin Zhengren asked. Zhang Jingshi heard and looked at the various messages on her phone. Well, I want to go to the company today. 2 weeks have passed, and Pan Lin must be unable to handle some things by herself. Lin Zhengren suggested, then I'll go with you, and I'll go wash up too. Zhang Jingshi put down her phone and stared at Lin Zhengren, smiling gently. No need, don't Lily and Wenwen have to practice today. You just accompany them. I'll just take a look at the company, and I will definitely be back for dinner before the evening. If I really encounter a problem that I can't solve, I'll call you again. She touched Lin Zhengren's face with her hand, and there was a little complaining in her tone. The playboy Zhang is very busy every weekend, so don't worry about unimportant things, just leave it to me. Lin Zhengren smiled, but he had something to say today. I know, but I must go today, because there is something I want to tell you. What is it? I've always wanted to say it. Lin Zhengren turned his head and looked at the little fox, Wenwen. The little fox frowned, and her half-awake eyes were full of charm. Brother Zhengren, why are you calling Wenwen? While talking, she kept rubbing Lin Zhengren's face. Like a little animal. Brother Zhengren said, Wenwen will listen to you in everything. Zhang Jingshi blushed when she saw her coquettish look. When it comes to how to please Zhang and how to exude feminine charm, Wenwen is really the best among the few people, the epitome of all. Zhang Jingshi, the eldest lady, sometimes has to learn frame by frame. Lin Zhengren was used to it. Wenwen, now you are familiar with Jingshi. Do you still remember what we discussed before? Be my secretary. Now Jingshi's secretary Pan Lin has too much to handle for 2 people. Why don't you take over my part? I will give you the highest level salary, but you will be responsible for handling matters related to me, so that Pan Lin can concentrate on Jingshi's part. When the little fox heard that he was going to be a secretary, his invisible fox ears fluttered and his eyes became bright. Secretary. Be Brother Zhengren's secretary? Great. Then when can I start work? Lin Zhengren looked at Zhang Jingshi. Today? Right. I am also relieved to have Wenwen as my secretary, although it was a bit unexpected to let Wenwen be a secretary suddenly. Zhang Jingshi had really thought that Wenwen's personality was indeed suitable for the position of secretary. And as a secretary of Zhang, Wenwen would pay absolute attention to Zhang's affairs and handle anything seriously. However, she was immediately worried about one thing. Wenwen looked so charming that she might have cheated on Zhang a lot while working as a secretary. Jiang Jingxi showed a little jealousy on her face and nodded. If Wenwen is a secretary, she can start work today. It's her decision, Lin's Hengren. Then it's settled. When Han Wenwen heard that she could really be a secretary, she was very excited. The non-existent foxtail seemed to be wrapped around Lin's Hengren. Then when are we going to the company? Speaking of which, I haven't been to the company yet, and I don't know what it looks like. Lin's Hengren pulled out his hand and touched Han Wenwen's head. I'll take you to see it today. Let's get up. The two girls nodded. Lin's Hengren looked down at Zhang Zuli and Xiao Heqing, who had also woken up. Lily, you can practice singing by yourself today. Heqing will stay at home with you. Wait for the three of us to come back in the evening. Tomorrow I will accompany you and Wenwen to practice music and live broadcast. Zhang Zuli nodded. Okay, then Heqing and I will wait for you to come back in the evening. Xiao Heqing pecked at rice like a chicken, well-behaved and obedient. Han Wenwen put her face close to Lin's Hengren's. Live broadcast. Finally I can start live broadcast. Speaking of which, I haven't made many game videos in more than a year, Jiang Jingxi asked. Speaking of live broadcast, there is something I have always wanted to ask. Is Wenwen's live broadcast a live broadcast with her face showing? Han Wenwen put her finger to her lips and thought, I used to plan to show my face, but now I can't and don't want to show my face. Although fans know what I look like, I think it's good to live broadcast with a suit. I can show my face occasionally to liven up the atmosphere. But most of the time, live broadcast with a suit is fine. It's interesting and won't cause trouble to brothers Hengren. After all, our family situation is a bit special, Jiang Jingxi asked with a smile. That's right, then Wenwen's live broadcast suit, I guess it's a vixen. Han Wenwen sighed. Sister Jiang is so smart. I have asked someone to make a vixen suit for me. It's quite beautiful, she said with a smile. Everyone suddenly grinned. It always feels like everyone can guess this kind of thing. Just like that, everyone got up and packed their clothes, put on makeup and washed up. Jiang Jingxi called Pan Lin to pick her up. As the vice president, she would definitely wear a suit if she went to the company. Han Wenwen finally found the secretary outfit she had prepared long ago from her personal closet. Hip skirt, black stockings, high heels, white shirt and suit jacket. When she took out the four-piece suit, Lin's Hengren reminded her, you don't have to dress so formally. As my personal secretary, you don't work in the company every day. The company leaders will only call you when there is something about me. Han Wenwen half bit her lip and looked at Lin's Hengren coquettishly. I know, but I just want to wear it for brothers Hengren to see. This sentence made the other three people blush and look at Han Wenwen. This coquettish look is indeed a talent. Chapter 368 Wenwen's shock. Fox changed into her secretary's formal attire. After everyone's scrutiny, she was really strangely beautiful and sexy. The little fox in black stockings and high heels had nothing to do with elegance and grandeur, but she had the feeling of a demon woman who brought disaster to the country and the people. Her every frown and smile was breathtaking. It can be said that Han Wenwen in this outfit simply showed off all the charm in her bones. She walked to Lin's Hengren in a cat-like step and high heels, took his arm, and said with a delicate tone and hot breath from her red lips, Good morning, boss. Even Xiao Heqing was surprised. Wenwen, you look really different in this outfit. Han Wenwen leaned on Lin's Hengren's shoulder and stared at Xiao Heqing. Really? What's different? Xiao Heqing blinked her pure almond eyes and suddenly became shy. She examined Han Wenwen's jade feet in high heels, her slender legs wrapped in black stockings, and the completely sexy waist-to-hip ratio near the hip skirt from bottom to top. She covered her face and said, it just gives people a sense of being the boss's lover. I can't really put it into words, but it's that kind of feeling. It's like I'm secretly helping the boss do things that are not suitable for children under the table in the office. Zhang Zuli and Jiang Jingxi looked at Xiao Heqing in disbelief after hearing this. They were all too ashamed to speak. He Qing's wonderful metaphor. Sure enough, He Qing is the most fierce at certain times. Han Wenwen was also embarrassed by this. She covered her face with one hand and smiled. Really? Although Xiao Heqing is a bit straightforward, I really want this kind of feeling. I originally wore this dress to seduce brothers Hengren. Everyone, it's impossible to evaluate this fox. Lin's Hengren also sighed and raised his hand to give Han Wenwen a headbang. The little fox whined in pain and deliberately felt wronged. Lin's Hengren, okay, stop chatting. Now that we have packed up, let's go. Pan Lin is already waiting for us at the door. Lin's Hengren, Han Wenwen, and Jiang Jingxi said goodbye to He Qing and Zhang Zuli and walked out of the villa together. At the entrance of the villa, Pan Lin had already gotten out of the car and was waiting. She knew that President Jiang had moved some time ago, and she also knew that President Jiang had moved in with President Lin. But when she saw other girls coming out together, Pan Lin was a little surprised. However, these familiar faces also made Pan Lin understand something instantly. President Lin was indeed not an ordinary person. For President Jiang, who was admired by everyone, to agree to such a thing, an ordinary man could never do it. It was enough to prove how much President Jiang liked President Lin. President Lin, President Jiang, Pan Lin half bowed and greeted. Lin's Hengren introduced, "Let me introduce Pan Lin to you. Her name is Han Wenwen. She is my future secretary. You can hand over all my work to her in the future. This will help you relieve a lot of pressure. Wenwen is Pan Lin. She is currently Jingxi and my secretary." Pan Lin looked up unexpectedly. Mr. Lin's secretary, Han Wenwen smiled and half bowed. "Hello, sister. My name is Han Wenwen. You can just call me Wenwen." Pan Lin stared at this unbelievably beautiful girl and smiled. "Hello Wenwen, I see. Then when we go to the company today, I will hand over all the work of Mr. Lin's secretary to Wenwen." "Jiang Jing," she said, "this way, Pan Lin, you can have more free time. You have worked hard recently." Pan Lin laughed and said casually, "It's okay. I can still handle it." "Thank you for your concern, Mr. Jiang and Mr. Lin." Everyone got on the car together, and the Rolls-Royce soon drove through the city. Jiang Zuli and He Qing, who were at the door of the villa, watched everyone leave. They returned to the villa to rest. In the car, Han Wenwen sat in the back seat with Lin Hengren and Jiang Jingxi. Han Wenwen observed the decoration inside the car, groping for the door with her fingers, and muttered to herself, "This is a Rolls-Royce. The interior is really different from other cars, it's spacious and upscale. I'm going to buy one for Brothers Hengren when I have money in the future." Lin Hengren said to Han Wenwen, "When we get to the company later, Pan Lin will take you to go through the entry procedures. If you don't understand something during the handover, just ask Pan Lin. She is very capable in handling business. Come to the office to find me and Jingxi when you're done." Han Wenwen nodded. "Okay," Pan Lin said in the co-pilot. "It may not be easy to get started at the beginning, but you'll get used to it slowly." Han Wenwen asked, "Sister Pan, what are the more difficult parts to learn?" Pan Lin thought for a while and said, "The more difficult parts to learn are about Mr. Lin's personal habits. Work matters are not that difficult. What a secretary does is nothing more than passing messages and serving. For example, when making tea for Mr. Lin, you have to know Mr. Lin's habits. You have to memorize Mr. Lin's schedule. You have to know that Mr. Lin has some work habits and ways of doing things. There are still some differences between Mr. Jiang and Mr. Lin in some things. You have to pay attention to these, but I think this should be very simple for Wenwen." Han Wenwen felt that it was really interesting. Her favorite thing to do was to study Brothers Hengren's habits. "Then Sister Pan, please teach me seriously when the time comes." "I will learn very seriously," Pan Lin nodded. Jiang Jingxi and Lin Hengren listened to the conversation between the two and felt that Wenwen didn't need to learn most things. Han Wenwen also glanced at Pan Lin, but her fox eyes blinked unexpectedly and smiled and retracted her gaze. After a while, they arrived at the headquarters of Jiangxi Company smoothly. At first glance, Han Wenwen was shocked by the scene in front of her. She looked at the 7-story gorgeous high-rise building, the gate outside, the spacious parking lot, and the occasional office workers walking under the building through the car window. She had searched for pictures of Jiangxi Company on the internet before, and she was amazed when she saw the pictures, but she was never as shocked as she was when she saw it in person. Such a big company is all about Brothers Hengren. The guards saw the car lift the barrier in advance and stood guard very seriously. The car stopped at the special area. Pan Lin got out and opened the door. After getting out of the car, looking up at the huge high-rise building, Han Wenwen was in a trance for a moment. 6 years ago, when she was in the first grade of junior high school, Brothers Hengren said that he wanted her to be his secretary. At that time, Han Wenwen did think that Brothers Hengren would become a boss in the future. But she imagined that he was the boss of a small company, and she never thought that she could achieve such a scale. At this moment, this scene is just like a dream. Han Wenwen came back to her senses after hearing it. "Huh?" Lin Hengren asked with a smile. "What are you daydreaming about? Let's go into the company." Han Wenwen looked at Lin Hengren now, smiled and nodded. Brothers Hengren is really amazing and powerful. The luckiest thing in Wenwen's life is to meet Brothers Hengren. Brothers Hengren, this company is so big, I was surprised. As they walked, Linz Hengren replied, to be honest, I was also surprised when I first came here. I didn't expect Jingxi to rent such a big building directly, and later bought it directly. Jiang Jingxi responded, because when I started the company with Zhang, I wanted to make it the biggest, so instead of expanding it bit by bit, it's better to do it all at once, so as to avoid having to buy more in the future as it expands. Looking back now, my choice was quite correct. Chapter 369 Secretary and Secretary. Entering the office building, we took the elevator all the way to the 7th floor. On the way, there were employees taking the elevator. When they saw the people inside, they were almost awe-startled and hurriedly greeted, "Hello, Mr. Lin." "Hello, Mr. Zhang." Linz Hengren and Jiang Jingxi just nodded as a greeting. And those employees were trembling in the elevator, not daring to breathe. Han Wenwen thought Brothers Hengren was so cool. After arriving at the 7th floor, Pan Lin helped open the general manager's office, which was also Linz Hengren's office. Because she received a call from the two Jiang Jingxis early in the morning, Pan Lin had already done all kinds of work in advance, such as opening the windows for ventilation. Linz Hengren said, "Pan Lin, you don't have to worry about me and Jingxi, just tell Wenwen what you do every day." Pan Lin smiled and nodded, "Okay, then I'll tell Wenwen that I have put the documents that Mr. Lin and Mr. Jiang want to see on the desk in advance." Linz Hengren and Jiang Jingxi saw a large pile of documents on the desk, and they sat down and began to check the various work reports of Zhangxi Company in this office. Pan Lin called Han Wenwen to the door. Han Wenwen looked at Linz Hengren and hurried to Pan Lin's side. Pan Lin demonstrated and told Han Wenwen what she did every day. "Wenwen, if you want to come to the company, the first thing you have to do is open the door. The password for Mr. Lin's office is. Then I will give you this key. To open Mr. Lin's door, you need both the password and the key. You can't open the door with just one key." Han Wenwen took the key in surprise. "Such a complicated door? It takes both the password and the key to open it." "Well, this kind of password door is specially made. The main reason is that there are many important things in the offices of Mr. Lin and Mr. Jiang. So except Mr. Lin, Mr. Jiang himself, and the two of us, no one can come in. In addition, there are only 3 keys in the whole company. You have one in your hand, one in the company safe, and one on Mr. Lin. If you lose your key and can't find it, you must contact the administrative department in time to let someone replace the lock core, and you cannot choose to make a copy of the key, I understand. That is to say, if the key is lost, the lock core will be useless." "Yes, that's it, really cautious, but it will cost a lot to replace a lock core for such a special door, right?" Pan Lin smiled and nodded. She whispered, "It's really expensive. Anyway, I haven't lost it, but the previous secretary before me lost it to President Jiang, and the secretary left the next day. Has anyone really lost it, Pan Lin?" "Well, of course, leaving is not necessarily related to losing the key. It's because President Jiang felt that he was not doing his job well, and losing the key was just an opportunity. In short, you have to keep the key carefully, and don't tell anyone the password." Han Wenwen carefully put away the key and nodded seriously. "Got it." Pan Lin went to the tea cabinet in the room. "Come, let me tell you again, as a secretary, how to make tea for the boss. If you want to make tea, you can choose from here. If you see that it is almost gone, tell the administration department in advance and ask them for it. They basically have stock. If they don't have it, they will ask the purchasing department to buy it. You don't have to worry about it. The same goes for other similar things. Just tell the administration department if anything is gone." Pan Lin took out the tea set. "Have you learned the basic essentials of making tea?" Han Wenwen smiled. "No, but I will learn it seriously. Then I will teach you how to make tea. By the way, I will also tell you when you can make tea and when you can't make tea. For example, when General Manager Lin wants to talk to a client." Pan Lin talked a lot with Han Wenwen here. Linz Hengren, who was sitting in the boss chair reading documents, could hear the whole thing. Observing Han Wenwen's reaction, it can be seen that she didn't think it was troublesome. Instead, she took out a notebook and a carbon pen from somewhere and started to record. Pan Lin continued, "Also, although we are secretaries in the company and our positions are not even as high as those of middle-level leaders, in fact, as the personal secretaries of General Manager Lin and General Manager Jiang, when you assign tasks to those leaders, you don't have to pay attention to their opinions. The two of us represent the direct words of General Manager Lin and General Manager Jiang. which are higher than the opinions of all leaders. If they are not satisfied with our arrangements, we don't have to refute them. We just need to pass the message to General Manager Lin and General Manager Zhang. Of course, no one has dared to refute General Manager Lin's opinion so far. Pan Lin knew that Han Wenwen's status and position were almost the same as General Manager Zhang, so she told Han Wenwen some potential rules directly. Han Wenwen nodded. I see, that's pretty much what I thought. Anyway, Brother Zhangren, she smiled, most of Mr. Lin's work will go through me, and I don't have to listen to anyone else's arrangements except Mr. Lin. Yes, as a personal secretary, you don't need to listen to anyone except Mr. Lin and Mr. Zhang. What you have to do is record, pass on messages, and filter out meaningless junk information from your subordinates. Let Mr. Lin always know any changes in the company. At the same time, you have to choose to refuse or propose solutions to some small matters based on your own judgment. Don't let Mr. Lin worry about small things, but important information cannot be missed. Pan Lin glanced at the time. It's very early now. I'll take you to my office and take a look around the company. Let you know the location of each department, as well as some of the company's surveillance passwords and the like. Okay, Pan Lin turned to face the two CEOs, Mr. Lin, Mr. Zhang. Then I'll take Wenwen around the company. Lin Zhangren hummed. Go. When Han Wenwen and Pan Lin left, Han Wenwen looked back at Lin Zhangren, blinked her fox eyes and whispered, Boss Lin, I will study hard. Then she closed the door and left. Lin Zhangren smiled helplessly. Zhang Jingshi and Lin Zhangren were the only ones left in the office. While Zhang Jingshi was flipping through the documents, her tone suddenly became a little jealous. Did you guys decide a long time ago that Wenwen would be your secretary? Lin Zhangren found that Zhang Jingshi was looking at him jealously. Well, I said it a long time ago. What's the matter? Zhang Jingshi put down the documents in her hand and looked at them with gentle eyes. Nothing. I just think Wenwen is very serious in learning and comes prepared. Lin Zhangren laughed. Jingshi is jealous. Zhang Jingshi blushed. Sitting upright in the boss chair with her head half lowered. How can I be jealous? But I have understood Wenwen's character during this period of time. I guess she won't be very honest as a secretary. Lin Zhangren held Zhang Jingshi's slender jade hand. Zhang Jingshi looked at Lin Zhangren with peach blossom eyes. Actually, I also thought about being your secretary a long time ago, and I think I told you about it. Well, I remember you said so, but you also said it was impossible at the time. Jingshi, you are not suitable to be a secretary, but Wenwen is extremely suitable. Zhang Jingshi bit her lip half bite, and suddenly said something unexpectedly. Wenwen and Pan Lin will not be able to come back after visiting the company for at least 2 or 3 hours. Our company is very large, so, before Wenwen officially joins the company, how about I be a secretary for half a day? Just as an experience, secretary for half a day. Zhang Jingshi leaned forward and kissed the corner of Lin Zhangren's mouth, her eyes tender and affectionate. Boss, is there anything Jingshi can do? Lin Zhangren looked at Zhang Jingshi unexpectedly, and the two looked at each other. Then they both laughed suddenly. Their lips slowly moved closer and kissed each other. For the first time, this high-ranking young lady in the company imitated the secretary's words and looked at Lin Zhangren and said, Boss, continue looking at the documents. Jingshi, serve the boss. Lin Zhangren put his arm around her waist and said, Jingshi has learned a lot of bad things compared to before. Zhang Jingshi was still well educated after all. She felt ashamed when faced with such words, but she still planned to continue to experience the extracurricular work of a personal secretary. Chapter 370 Talking about Business. Lin Zhangren sat in the boss chair and continued to review the work documents for this month. Zhang Jingshi, who was somewhere unknown, was also busy with her temporary secretary work. Boss, are you satisfied with Jingshi's work today? Lin Zhangren flipped through the documents and deliberately said, Don't talk, just do your thing. Zhang Jingshi's cheeks flushed, and she didn't dare to speak again. She just continued to pretend to be a secretary and replied gently. Yes. At the same time, at the gate of Zhangxi Company, an Audi car slowly drove in from a distance and carefully stopped on both sides of the intersection. The people in the car got out of the car. They were a couple, a man and a woman. They were both about 30 years old and dusty. The man wore a suit and the woman was also dressed up seriously. Wife, have you taken everything? The woman nodded. Well, don't worry, but this company is really big. She looked up at the huge 7-story building in front of her. The man nodded after examining it. This is a real big company. As long as we can close this deal today, we won't be afraid of losing money this year. The main thing is that we don't know each other, so just don't let anything go wrong." The man was a little nervous. "It should be fine, we've already contacted them." So the couple strode towards the guard, and the husband said, "Hello, brother. I'm here to talk business with Mr. Liu. My last name is Han." The security guard glanced at the other person and knew from his posture that he was looking for someone. From his accent, it was obvious that he was not a local. "Looking for Mr. Liu? Which Mr. Liu?" "The director of our administrative department." "Yes, Mr. Liu from the administrative department. Why do you need to talk business with the administrative department?" The man smiled. "Someone else contacted him." "Okay, then I'll call Mr. Liu for you." "Please wait a moment." "Thank you." After the security guard made the call, he hung up the phone and passed the message to the person involved. "Okay, someone will come down to pick you up later. Just follow her in and fill out the registration form." "Thank you." The man took a polite cigarette out of his pocket while writing the form. "Brother, have a cigarette." The security guard took it with a chuckle. Seeing that the other party was quite easygoing, he immediately asked, "Your accent doesn't sound like a local? Are you from the south? Are you a couple?" The man and woman looked at each other, and the man said, "Well, my wife and I just came here last night. We drove for 2 days. That's really hard. This is how it is when doing business." After filling out the form, the two sides chatted for a while, and the security guard continued to stand guard. The couple was also waiting for someone from the office to pick them up. But while waiting, the man asked his wife, "After we are done with the work today, let's go see Wenwen together?" "It's just on the way," the wife replied. "Okay, then I'll call Wenwen after we finish the business." Others didn't know the couple, but if Lin Zhangren or Han Wenwen were there, they would naturally be able to tell at a glance that a couple who came all the way from the south to discuss business were Han Wenwen's uncle and aunt. The market in the south was not good this year, and the couple also tried their best to contact this big company. After waiting for a while, as a young girl came down from the office, the uncle hurried over. The girl asked, "Is this Mr. Han? Are you here to see Mr. Liu?" "Yes, our Mr. Liu is in a meeting and may not be back for a while. I'll take you upstairs first." "It's okay, it's okay." I took my uncle and aunt into the Zhangxi company building and took the elevator. Looking at this magnificent building, my uncle and aunt couldn't help but feel nervous. Today's business is related to the benefits of the two people for the whole year. My uncle had to mobilize a lot of connections and gave a lot of gifts to have the opportunity to contact the director of the administrative department of Zhangxi company. There must be no mistakes. They arrived at the door of the administrative department smoothly. The girl asked the two to wait on the sofa for a while. The couple nodded humbly and didn't say anything else. About 10 minutes later, a middle-aged man in his 40s strode into the administrative department. It was Mr. Liu, the director of the administrative department. Although my uncle came to see Mr. Liu, he didn't know who Mr. Liu was, so he just sat there quietly. Mr. Liu asked the department employees, "Didn't they say someone was looking for me?" The girl who received the person looked at the sofa and said, "The person is here. He's right there." Mr. Liu turned around and saw the couple, and the uncle realized that these were the people he was looking for. He stood up and shook hands with them. "Are you Mr. Liu?" "Hello, my last name is Han, and I called you yesterday." Mr. Liu shook hands casually and responded, "Mr. Han, right? Okay, let's go out and talk." The three of them went to a deserted place outside the office. Mr. Liu said, "I'm also very busy, so let's make it short. Have you brought the samples? Let me take a look and see how much you plan to sell them for. If the price is right, I'll contact the purchasing department for you." My aunt quickly took out a bag of small mechanical parts from her bag. "Here they are, take a look. Our products are well made and not expensive. We sell them for 300 yuan a set, which is much lower than the market price." "Too expensive?" Mr. Liu took a quick look. Of course, he knew that this thing was already very cheap, but he still said, "It's too expensive, make it cheaper." My uncle said, "It's really already very cheap. We hardly make any money at this price." I said, "It's expensive, so why aren't you making any money?" "How could I not know whether you make any money or not? It's not easy for the two of you to come here, so why didn't you consider the price before you came? If that's the case, I can't help you contact them." My aunt glanced at her husband, and my uncle nervously took out a file bag from his bag and handed it to him. "This price is really not expensive. Mr. Liu, we have finally contacted you, so please do us a favor and help us contact them." Mr. Liu looked around to see if there was anyone around. So he took the envelope, looked at it, and suddenly smiled. Okay, it's not easy for you too, so I'll just do you a favor and help you contact the purchasing department. You should know that your batch of goods is not easy to sell, and there are not many companies that can buy them all at once. But I have to remind you, I'm just helping you contact them, and whether you can make the deal depends on you. My uncle nodded humbly, but when he heard this, he was a little stunned and asked with a smile, "We have found you. How can we not make the deal?" Mr. Liu frowned. "What a person you are. What are you talking about? Do you think anyone can contact our purchasing department? Our company has fixed customers. What do you think? How about I give this thing back to you, and you can contact them yourself? I won't help you." When my aunt saw that the other party took it back, she waved her hand quickly. No, my husband is not very good at talking. Don't be angry. You help us contact them and we will talk about it ourselves. Thank you. That's right. Your wife is much smarter than you. Then you should go directly to the purchasing department on the 4th floor. Someone will see you. Both of our CEOs are here today. I'm very busy, so I won't accompany you. Besides, you know what to say and what not to say, my uncle replied awkwardly. Okay, you go ahead and do your job. Thank you. My aunt watched the other party leave. Take care. Mr. Liu took the envelope and strode back to the administration department. My uncle, who was a bit honest, sighed. It's so hard to negotiate a deal. My aunt comforted her husband. It's like this when you ask people to do things for you. You just need to get used to it. Let's go to the purchasing department and see what they say over there. My uncle and aunt took the elevator down, and after Mr. Liu from the administration department returned to his office, Pan Lin walked in with Han Wenwen. When he saw Pan Lin, Mr. Liu, who had just been speaking fast and had a great image, suddenly became humble. Secretary Pan. Why are you here? Who is this? Pan Lin said seriously. Director Liu, let me introduce you. Her name is Han Wenwen. She will be Mr. Lin's personal secretary in the future and will be responsible for Mr. Lin's affairs. Chapter 371 Meeting. Oh, it's the new Secretary Han. Hello. Secretary Han is so beautiful. Hello, Director Liu. Thank you for the compliment. After a symbolic greeting, Pan Lin looked at the envelope in the other person's hand, which looked a little strange. The things inside were wide at the bottom and narrow at the top. What is this? A document. Mr. Liu took the envelope and smiled perfunctorily. No, it's something my relatives sent me. I'll take it home in the evening. Pan Lin didn't ask much. Okay, it's good to know each other anyway. I will not be responsible for matters related to Mr. Lin in the future. If you have any questions, you can contact Secretary Han directly. Secretary Han's company phone number will also be sent to the group. No problem. After leaving the administrative department, Pan Lin asked Han Wenwen, we've almost finished shopping. Let's go to the warehouse to take a look. Are you tired? You've walked for such a long time in high heels. Han Wenwen thought that since she started drawing lots for that kind of thing, her physical fitness seemed to have improved a lot. Although she was a little tired after walking for so long, she couldn't say she was very tired. Not bad. You don't look like this is your first time wearing high heels. You're quite skilled. Han Wenwen did wear it occasionally to try it out in private, which could arouse Zhang Gren's interest, but it was rare. So she casually said, wear it occasionally. Okay, let's go to the warehouse and take a rest. The warehouse is behind the 1st floor. The two took the elevator down together. But just 5 minutes later, when Han Wenwen and Pan Lin finished visiting the warehouse and were about to return to the office building lobby, they bumped into her uncle and aunt who were getting off the elevator. Han Wenwen's fox eyes widened, and her uncle and aunt, who looked a little sad, also widened their eyes. The three looked at each other. It was very unexpected. Han Wenwen was puzzled. Uncle and aunt. Why are you two here? Uncle looked at Wenwen's outfit, high heels, black stockings and hip skirt, looking like a mature female employee. It was the first time he saw Han Wenwen like this. Wenwen. You? Aunt was also surprised. Wenwen? Why are you dressed like this and why are you here? Pan Lin looked at Han Wenwen puzzledly. Who are these two? Han Wenwen introduced first. Sister Pan. This is my uncle and aunt, he said to his uncle and aunt. Uncle and aunt, this is Sister Pan, Mr. Jiang's secretary. Uncle didn't know who Mr. Jiang was in such a large company, but the position of secretary must be not small, so he quickly extended his hand. Hello, Secretary Pan, I'm Uncle Wenwen. Hello. Han Wenwen looked at her aunt with curiosity and replied, I'm here to start work today. What are you here for, uncle and aunt? Aunt frowned. Start work. Wenwen, don't you have a part-time job? Your uncle and I are here to discuss some business, haha. Han Wenwen covered her face and smiled. I have more part-time jobs, but are my uncle and aunt coming to the north to discuss business? Han Wenwen had heard from her uncle that they had set up a small factory to make things half a year ago, and he even took pictures of the factory for her, but the small factory business would not be discussed here. The uncle smiled and said, the market has not been good in the past 2 years, so I have to travel more. Oh, so, is it going well? Han Wenwen asked. This uncle found it difficult to speak. Just now, after they went to the purchasing department, they actually said that they still needed to review it and would not notify them until after a while. They didn't give a definite answer whether they would cooperate or not. Not bad. Pan Lin looked around and felt something was wrong. She interrupted, excuse me, you just said that you were here to discuss business? Did you discuss with the purchasing department? Uncle nodded, yes, the purchasing department. Then are you two leaving? No one is coming to see you off. Uncle smiled, no need to see you off, we're done. No need to see you off, Pan Lin said seriously. According to company regulations, no matter whether the business is successful or not, the department must see the guests off. Who did you talk to? At this time, my aunt saw that Pan Lin's aura was not like that of an ordinary person, and coupled with the secretary that Wenwen just mentioned, she glanced at Wenwen. Wenwen, come here for a moment, your aunt has something to ask you. Oh, okay. Aunt pulled Han Wenwen aside and said curiously, Wenwen, the Mr. Zhang you just mentioned is smart. Han Wenwen immediately understood her aunt's curiosity and replied, Mr. Zhang, the Deputy General Manager of Jiangxi Company. Deputy General Manager. Does that mean this person is the Deputy General Manager's secretary? Jiang's mother was surprised. Such a high-ranking official. Why did she personally take you in today when you just joined the company? You? Han Wenwen smiled. Because I am also a secretary, the secretary of Brothers Yangren. Ah, Han Wenwen saw that the other party didn't understand, and didn't beat around the bush and smiled. And, I haven't told you and uncle this before, but since we met today, I'll tell you. Brothers Yangren has actually been doing business with people since high school. Now he is the president of Jiangxi Company. This company belongs to Brothers Yangren. Aunt almost couldn't believe her ears. What did you say, Lin Yangren? Wenwen, are you saying that your boyfriend is the president of Jiangxi Company? The president of this company? Yes, Han Wenwen smiled and nodded. The other party was stunned. Although this was almost unimaginable, the facts seemed to be right in front of them. As a woman, she had an inexplicable thought, that is, she couldn't judge whether this child was lucky or unlucky for a while. She laughed for no reason. This is incredible. Han Wenwen, who was the best at probing people's hearts, asked in a low voice, by the way, and, uncle's business deal didn't go through, right? What happened? Aunt didn't know what to say for a moment. This matter, soon, the uncle and aunt explained the situation, because Pan Lin was present and this matter could not be concealed anyway. The uncle and aunt were invited to the VIP room. Han Wenwen went to the 7th floor to find Lin Hengren. When knocking on the door, Lin Hengren waited for a while before saying come in. Han Wenwen pushed the door open and found Sister Zhang, who was sitting next to Brothers Hengren, wiping her mouth with toilet paper. There was a light blush on her face. The timing was just right. Lin Hengren asked, is Wenwen back? How is her study going? Zhang Jingxi also tried to pretend that nothing had happened and asked gently, Wenwen is back. Han Wenwen blinked her fox eyes and looked at Sister Zhang meaningfully, with a hint of sourness in her eyes almost instantly. What were Sister Zhang and Brothers Hengren doing in the office just now? Zhang Jingxi was ashamed not to look at Han Wenwen, for fear of being discovered. However, because of what happened just now, the little fox pursed his lips and said, Brothers Hengren, my uncle and aunt are here, and I asked them to wait in the VIP room. Uncle and aunt? What's going on? It's a coincidence. This is what happened. After hearing this, Lin Hengren and Zhang Jingxi were a little surprised, especially Zhang Jingxi's hand stopped there when she was drinking water, and her slightly red face was more angry. What did you say? Director Liu of the administration department is in collusion with the purchasing department? Wenwen, where is Pan Lin? Han Wenwen replied, Sister Pan has gone to the administration department to find Director Liu. After thinking about it, Zhang Jingxi looked at Lin Hengren. Zhang. Lin Hengren knew what Zhang Jingxi was going to say, and stood up. Wenwen, I will accompany you to see your uncle and aunt." Then he said to Jingshi, "Jingshi, you handle the company's affairs, you are better than me in this regard." Jingshi nodded, "I will take care of it, and I will go to the VIP room to find you, and when after I finish, leave it to you." If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 372 Guilt. The troops split into two groups. Jingshi went to deal with the company's internal affairs, while Lin's Hengren went to meet Han Wenwen's uncle and aunt. However, when they separated at the elevator door, Han Wenwen waited in the elevator for the elevator door to close. In the narrow space, she stared at Lin's Hengren beside her and said jealously, "Brothers Hengren, are you satisfied with Sister Jiang's service again?" Lin's Hengren raised his hand and gave the little fox a chestnut on the head. The little fox whimpered in pain. Lin's Hengren smiled helplessly. "You are really sharp-eyed." The little fox's eyes were sour, and she snorted coquettishly. It was only when Lin's Hengren rubbed her fox head that Han Wenwen was not so jealous. However, she mentioned, "I will also serve Brothers Hengren later. I am the secretary, and this is what I should do." Lin's Hengren grinned, wondering what he came to the company for today. They walked to the VIP room together and opened the door of the VIP room. When the door was opened, the uncle and aunt also stood up quickly. Looking at Lin's Hengren, who had been to the south some time ago, with fear and trepidation. At that time, they had always thought that he was just an ordinary boy, an ordinary college student. But now the couple had different expressions and couldn't believe it. They didn't expect that this young boy, Han Wenwen's boyfriend, would have such a high status and achievements. It was far beyond what ordinary people like them could imagine. Han Wenwen had a little secretary temperament. "Uncle and aunt, Brothers Hengren is here," Lin's Hengren said politely. "Uncle and aunt meet again." Wenwen said that you came here to discuss business. Uncle and aunt looked at each other. Uncle took the initiative to extend his hand. "Mr. Lin. Thank you for coming here." Lin's Hengren didn't have any airs. "Uncle, you don't have to call me that, just call me Lin's Hengren or Zhengren." Wenwen's uncle is an honest man. She knows that she is not familiar with Lin's Hengren, or even a stranger, and she has only met him a few times. Even as Wenwen's uncle, even though he has raised Wenwen for several years. But after all, because he got married and started a new family, he didn't take care of Wenwen like he did when she was a child. He even visited her only a few times in the past few years. He even wondered if Wenwen and her boyfriend had some opinions about him, but he couldn't do anything about it. So even if the man changed his words, he was still hesitant. There was sweat on his forehead. "Zhang Hengren, I didn't expect you to be the general manager of Zhangxi Company. It's so unexpected." The usually cheerful aunt seemed to be more cautious in her tone and smiled. "When we heard it just now, we were both surprised and speechless for a long time. You can achieve such an achievement at such a young age?" Lin's Hengren could see the tension between the two, so he just said a few simple polite words and took the opportunity of what Wenwen had just talked about. Talk about his uncle's current small factory. His uncle said that his factory was not large, with only about 20 employees in total, and it was a small business. Due to the recent poor market conditions, there have been no orders for half a month. When talking about this, the uncle and aunt looked at each other again. They saw Lin's Hengren's current status and were actually thinking about whether they could help them. With Lin's Hengren's size, just throwing some small change to them would be enough for their family to eat for a long time. It would be a relief. But the uncle was really honest, and he still felt a little guilty about Wenwen in his heart, and he didn't say it several times. The aunt, who always had her own ideas, seemed to be wilted at this time. Her fingers were slightly clenched, and she kept silent. Han Wenwen, who was standing aside, seemed to see the difficulty of the uncle and aunt, and also saw that Brothers Hengren was hinting to herself to let her speak. Lin's Hengren could do this favor, of course, but he thought it would be better to let Wenwen do it. So this time Han Wenwen took the initiative to ask Lin's Hengren, "Brothers Hengren, why don't you help your uncle and aunt? It just so happens that this batch of goods from your uncle's family, I saw Sister Pan just said that we can also use it after this." The uncle and aunt looked at Han Wenwen gratefully, flattered. Lin's Hengren didn't say much, just smiled and nodded. "Of course, just like Wenwen said, we just happen to need the products of my uncle and aunt. Did you bring samples?" Let me take a look. If it's okay, I'll give it to my uncle and aunt if there is an order in the near future." When my aunt heard this, her body tensed up and she nodded repeatedly. "I have brought samples. I'll get them for you." The couple quickly took the samples out of their bags. Lin's Hengren took a quick look and made some suggestions. "This little place can be improved. If you change this place like this, I think we can cooperate." After hearing this, my uncle and aunt thought it was not a difficult task and continued to nod. "Okay, it's not troublesome. We will go back and change it immediately." Lin's Hengren smiled. "Okay, then let's put it this way. When the new samples of uncle and aunt come out, we will contact the purchasing department directly. I will let Wenwen talk to the purchasing department in advance and sign the contract." My aunt was full of gratitude and subconsciously stretched out her hand. "Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Lin." My uncle also smiled and said, "Thank you, Mr. Lin." Lin's Hengren did not repeat the words to ask them to change the address. He nodded and let it go. On the other side, Jiang Jingshi handled the company's problems very quickly. At present, Jiangxi Company has developed to the present. This kind of gang building and kickbacks is not the first time and certainly not the last time. Jiang Jingshi has also talked about this kind of thing before. So the way to deal with it is also very simple, just leave. Soon everyone gathered at the door of the company. Jiang Jingshi also arrived and greeted Han Wenwen's uncle and aunt. When saying goodbye, the uncle and aunt looked at Han Wenwen as if they had something to say. Jiang Jingshi first asked Lin's Hengren with her eyes, and after Lin's Hengren agreed, she gave Pan Lin a look. Pan Lin pretended to be in a hurry. "Mr. Lin and Mr. Jiang, the important itinerary you two arranged earlier has arrived, and you have to go back to the meeting." Jiang Jingshi heard it and responded, "Meeting? Just wait a while." Uncle quickly waved his hand and said, "Mr. Lin and Mr. Jiang, you guys are busy. We came here by car anyway. We can just drive away later. We won't delay you." A few simple polite words. Lin's Hengren said, "Okay, then we will go back. Wenwen, you can see your uncle and aunt off. Jingshi and I will go upstairs to the meeting first." Han Wenwen also understood many things at once and understood the meaning. "Well, I know, uncle, aunt," and Han Wenwen watched Lin's Hengren and others leave. It seemed that Lin's Hengren was already under pressure for the couple, and they couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief when he left. Han Wenwen could see all the little movements, and said calmly, "Uncle and aunt, then do as brothers Hengren said. You should quickly improve the product and sign the contract order when the time comes." The uncle looked at Han Wenwen, who had now grown up completely, opened his mouth and finally spoke this time. "Wenwen, thank you. If it weren't for you and Mr. Lin this time, your aunt and I don't know what we would do." Han Wenwen replied with a smile, "What's the big deal? We are all family. Don't take it to heart. Get in the car and drive slowly on the road." Uncle got in the car, and after aunt opened the door, she stopped and suddenly turned around to talk about the past. "Wenwen, I asked you to leave home in order to marry your uncle. Although I told you about my difficulties at that time, your aunt also knows that I am sorry for you. I hope you don't hate your aunt." Her eyes trembled, and she said solemnly, "Aunt wants to say sorry to you." Han Wenwen looked a little dazed by this sudden topic. But she quickly smiled and said, "Aunt, what are you talking about? I have never hated you." She also said seriously, "I know that my uncle has his own life, and he was indeed a burden when I was a child. No matter what I say or think, I know that this is the fact, so I am very grateful to my uncle for raising me all those years, and I am also very grateful to my uncle and aunt for their care for me all these years. Without my uncle, I would definitely not be able to live like this now." Han Wenwen said sincerely. In short, in Wenwen's heart, we are a family. Aunt's eyes were red, and she smiled and hugged Han Wenwen. Uncle secretly wiped his tears with his hands in the car. Waving goodbye, Han Wenwen kept watching the car go away and let out a long sigh. She went back to the company to find brother Lin's Hengren. Chapter 373, Level 83, Testing New Abilities. When you were handling affairs in the Imperial City, you encountered difficulties with the foster parents of the demon cult witch. You solved the problem with a casual move, and found the termites inside the Imperial City and cleaned them up at the same time. From the above events, your spiritual energy level is increased by 2. Your spiritual energy control level is improved from level 2 to level 3. Level 3 spiritual energy control is not only able to simply pick up objects, but also to repel objects for attack, and the range of spiritual energy control is increased and the speed is increased. Your current attributes are spiritual energy level 83, Spiritual energy control. Level 3. Spiritual energy control of objects is strengthened to gain repulsion ability, and you can cross the river by treading water. Spirit gathering body. Level 1. Lifespan limit exceeds 200, and you gain chronic self-healing ability when you are injured. If you are fatally injured, your injury will be reduced to severe injury, and severe injury will be reduced to light injury. It cannot be continuously reduced for the time being, and your body's strength is doubled. Resonance of heaven and earth. Level 2. The minimum quality of manufactured items is epic, side effects are cancelled, manufacturing time disappears, and refining materials are halved. Affinity for all things. Level 3. Your affinity for the attributes of all things has reached the level of a great man, no longer limited to the ranks of geniuses. When returning to the company, Lins Hengren heard the voice of the system. He had actually been promoted 2 levels again, and he also had new abilities. Although he didn't use his abilities most of the time in this world, he definitely had to try them out after he had gained them, because of human curiosity. He said to Zhang Jingshi, "Jingshi, you go back and get busy first. I have something to do and I have to go out for a while." Zhang Jingshi was curious. "Go out? Where to? Do you need my help?" "No, I'll be back soon. When Wenwen comes back later, ask her to make tea for me in the office. I also want to ask her how she is doing with her secretary training today." Zhang Jingshi agreed half-heartedly, and Lin Zhengren turned around and left, not knowing where he was going or what he was doing. After the other party walked a long way, Zhang Jingshi thought to herself, just like since she knew him, although the number of times was not many, from time to time he did occasionally run to a place to be alone, and didn't like to be disturbed by others. Not knowing what she was doing, Zhang Jingshi thought that everyone in this world had some small habits. She cooked, and maybe Zhang's habit was to be alone occasionally? Yes, as the head of the family, there were so many things to care about every day. Even if Zhang could do everything, he would still be stressed. It seemed that he had to pay more attention to Zhang. Let him relieve his stress. Thinking of this, Zhang Jingshi pursed her red lips subconsciously, and the touch of her lips seemed to be still clearly visible. Her eyes were gentle. This week was about to pass, and the lottery would start again next week. When it was her turn, she would serve Zhang a few more times, so that he could put all the stress on herself. After venting the stress, she could have a good sleep. Zhang Jingshi turned her head and looked at Pan Lin. "Pan Lin, Mr. Lin has finished reading some documents this morning, and there are not many left. Move them all to my office so that Mr. Lin can have a rest in the afternoon." Pan Lin nodded. "Okay, I'll do it right away." The two went back to the office, and Lin Zhengren walked alone to an unused warehouse of Zhangxi Company. Lin Zhengren is very clear about what is in each place of Zhangxi Company now. This idle warehouse was specially prepared by Lin Zhengren. It is very large and usually not used. It is a spare warehouse to the outside world. But Lin Zhengren actually put some sundries in it, big and small, just so that he can experiment in it at any time when upgrading his skills. So Lin Zhengren entered the warehouse and locked it. Turn on the light. The messy tables, sofas, benches, file cabinets, water cups and other items in the warehouse are displayed against the wall. The third level spiritual energy control is to enhance the speed, range and intensity of the control, plus an additional repulsion ability. Looking at the water cup on the ground, his previous spiritual energy control can easily control these small items to any position. It's just that the speed at which the things fly into his hands is not that fast. But now Lin Zhengren stretched out his hand, and with a drive of spiritual power, the water cup almost instantly flew to Lin Zhengren's palm and was firmly grasped by him. The flying speed is more than 4 or 5 times faster than before. So fast, Lin Zhengren put the water cup aside and found a wooden sofa that weighed at least several dozen kilograms. In the past, the spiritual control was absolutely unable to control such a huge and heavy object, but now Lin Zhengren stretched out his hand and drove the spiritual energy. The sofa weighing several dozen kilograms was actually slowly shaking and gradually floating up. As Lin Zhengren's consciousness changed its position in the air, it was extremely easy. It really got stronger, but it's limited. Lin Zhengren did not put down the sofa, but controlled other items one after another, and the items in the warehouse flew up in the air. When 80% of the items flew up, Lin Zhengren felt that it was the limit. It was about 1 ton. It's okay, at least it's much stronger than before. The speed and strength have been measured, and then the range. Lin Zhengren opened the warehouse door and looked at an object 200 meters away, allowing it to float without being discovered. Then try 300 meters away, 400 meters, and finally the range limit is determined to be 500 meters. That is 1/4 more than the length of the entire playground. Linz Hengren was quite satisfied with the range. Back to the warehouse again, experiment with the new ability of repulsion. Linz Hengren picked up the water cup out of thin air and clenched his palms slightly. Then the water cup seemed to feel some pressure, and an invisible pressure from all directions squeezed the water cup and deformed it. In the end, it was squeezed into a round glass sphere. Linz Hengren waved his hand casually, and the glass sphere was quickly repelled and crashed into the warehouse wall into pieces, scattered all over the floor. He was surprised. Then he looked at the sofa in the warehouse. With a crackling sound of wood being squeezed, the sofa weighing dozens of kilograms was squeezed towards the center. The rotten wood broke at the center. 10 minutes later, Linz Hengren came out of the warehouse and understood the specific ability of repulsion. He found a warehouse keeper, who immediately greeted Linz Hengren when he saw that it was him. "Boss Lin." Linz Hengren smiled. "Hello, I just had someone smash all the things in the warehouse on the far right. You can throw them away, put some new things in, and lock the door." The other person nodded without thinking. "Okay, Boss Lin, I'll ask someone to do it right away." Linz Hengren turned and left. When the employee arrived at the warehouse, he couldn't help but widen his eyes. What was used to smash it? How come all the things that were placed here before are broken into pieces? He picked up a piece of wood fragments. Fragments like this were all over the floor. There was no intact thing in the warehouse. Chapter 374 Proposal. The general manager's office on the 7th floor of Jiangxi Company. Han Wenwen, dressed in a secretary's outfit, was practicing making tea and bowing in the office. She trained in front of the empty boss chair. "Boss, please have some tea." Feeling that she was not charming enough, she adjusted her posture again. She sat on the desk with her butt more raised and said, "Boss, have some tea." After practicing, she felt very satisfied, but when she looked back, she pursed her lips and said, "Why hasn't Brother Hengren come back yet? What on earth did he do?" The elevator on the 7th floor dinged. Han Wenwen's fox ears jumped. "Brother Hengren." She hurried to the door to greet him. Sure enough, Linz Hengren walked towards the office slowly. "Brother Hengren, oh no, President Lin is back." Linz Hengren looked at Han Wenwen's coquettish and fawning look, and patted her butt when passing by her. "Don't lift it up so much, it's like I know you have a good figure." Han Wenwen's face turned slightly red, and she stared at Brother Hengren who sat in the boss chair. Knowing is knowing, showing off is showing off. It's just like a woman has to exercise her figure after she has a boyfriend, isn't it, to better capture Brother Hengren's heart? Linz Hengren leaned back in the boss chair and looked at Han Wenwen again. "You have already held me tightly enough. How about what you learned from Pan Lin today?" Han Wenwen turned around and closed the office door with her back, and locked it with a click. She slowly came to Linz Hengren's side, and one hand gently brushed the edge of the table as she walked, tempting him. "You've learned very well. Sister Pan said that the most troublesome thing about being a secretary is to understand the boss's preferences, and everyone's preferences are different, so it's the most difficult thing to satisfy the boss." But Han Wenwen stopped beside Linz Hengren, deliberately sat on Linz Hengren's lap, and looked at Linz Hengren. For Wenwen, this is the easiest, because Wenwen knows all of Brother Hengren's habits, from how long he eats on average to what colors he likes and what types of clothes he likes, and even how to make Brother Hengren happy the fastest in certain things. Wenwen knows it all. She spread her hands, "So it's super fast for me to learn. As for work, although I'm still a little behind, I'm sure I'll be familiar with it in a few more days." Linz Hengren looked at Fox's dishonest little movements throughout the whole process, and knew that she was in high spirits again. Once she was like this, she couldn't stop. If he didn't want to touch her, she would even cry anxiously like before. Linz Hengren wanted to take a sip of water from the teacup. Han Wenwen saw this and hurriedly said, "Let me do it." She held the teacup with both hands and gently placed it next to Linz Hengren's lips, saying in a practiced tone, "Boss, have some tea." Linz Hengren took a sip. Han Wenwen asked, "How does it taste?" "Yeah, it tastes like tea." It was a double entendre. Han Wenwen pursed her lips and shyly glared at Linz Hengren. She drank half of the tea that Linz Hengren had drunk herself, and after tasting it, she said, "Drinking tea definitely tastes like tea." Linz Hengren took another look at Wenwen's outfit today. She was wearing high heels and black stockings. Because she was sitting on her legs, her hip skirt was very tight. She also had a unique scent of a little fox on her body. Lin's Hengren put his hand on her thigh. Gently rubbed it. Han Wenwen felt the warmth of Lin's Hengren's palm and bit her lip and asked, "Boss, how do you feel? The stockings Wenwen is wearing today were specially selected, and they will feel better." "Yes, they are good," Han Wenwen said first. "In addition, Sister Jiang and Sister Pan will not come over for 2 or 3 hours. Just now, when Brothers Hengren was not back, Sister Jiang took all the documents away, saying that you worked hard in the morning, and she will deal with it in the afternoon, so that the boss can have a good rest." Lin's Hengren looked at Han Wenwen. The two smiled tacitly. His hand reached into Han Wenwen's shirt dishonestly and hugged Han Wenwen's waist. Han Wenwen also wrapped her hands around Lin's Hengren's neck. "Boss, what do you want to do to your little secretary?" "I want to give you a gift." "Gift?" Han Wenwen's face moved closer and closer, and their noses were pressed together. She blinked her fox eyes, her long eyelashes fluttering meaningfully. "What gift? Is it delicious?" "That's not edible. Brothers Hengren has something that can't be eaten?" Wenwen doesn't believe it. What surprised Han Wenwen was that Lin's Hengren suddenly took out a small box from his pocket. "Well, it's really inedible." Han Wenwen didn't expect there was really a gift. She originally thought that the so-called gift was what Brothers Hengren wanted to do. She was extremely surprised, and her eyes suddenly became clearer as she stared at the exquisite little box. "What is this?" "You will know if you open it. I made it for you by hand." "Made by hand?" Han Wenwen looked at the box expectantly, sat up straight again, took it carefully, and slowly opened it. Curious about what it could be. Who knew that after seeing what was inside clearly, Han Wenwen was stunned. Her pupils unconsciously dilated in surprise, and she covered her mouth with emotion, and her tone was hesitant. "What is this?" "A ring." The diamond ring in the box was shining at all edges under the reflection of the sun. Lin's Hengren took the ring out of the box. The initials of Han Wenwen's name were also engraved on the back of the ring. Originally, things like proposing should be done after graduation, but for some reasons, due to the accident of Jiang Jingshi dropping the ring before, so I planned to do it a little earlier, but the wedding will definitely be held after graduation. He looked up and stared at the little fox with both hands covering her lips. The other party's heart was about to jump out of his throat. He really didn't expect that something like this would happen today. Lin's Hengren asked, "Wenwen, will you marry me after graduation?" Han Wenwen's eyes even turned red because of those words. After a short daze, she nervously put down her hand and said without hesitation, "Yes. Of course I do." Wenwen has been the little fox raised by Brothers Hengren since the day I met Brothers Hengren, and she only belongs to Brothers Hengren. She slowly stretched out her finger. Lin's Hengren put the diamond ring on her left ring finger. After seeing the ring return to its place, Han Wenwen couldn't help but smile. She raised her hand and the ring was dotted on her tender and white fingers. She looked at Lin's Hengren with emotion. She sniffed and cried. "Brothers Hengren, Wenwen loves you so much." She quickly hugged Lin's Hengren and started to cry. Even the ambiguous atmosphere before was gone. Lin's Hengren had to hug Han Wenwen to comfort her. He touched her head and patted her back. Okay, you don't have to cry." Han Wenwen buried her face in Lin's Hengren's neck. "After all, it's a proposal. Being proposed to by Brothers Hengren is the happiest thing for Wenwen. I didn't expect to be proposed to today. I like Brothers Hengren so much." Of course, she was moved and cried for a while. After the emotion subsided, Han Wenwen was even more excited and kissed Lin's Hengren's lips directly. I want Brothers Hengren, I want you." They made love for a while. Chapter 375 Wenwen's Request. You gave the demon cult demon girl a homemade marriage ring, and the spiritual connection with the demon cult demon girl has been raised to the maximum. Your spiritual level increased by 2. Your affinity level for all things increased to level 4. The effect of affinity level 4 for all things is increased to. The object with whom you sign a contract will receive 5 times your teaching bonus, and when she improves her own strength, she will return you 10 times the spiritual experience. The object without a contract with you can also receive double the teaching bonus after accepting your guidance, and the learning speed is faster. And the newly taught object without a contract will also return you the corresponding spiritual experience when it is improved. Your affinity for all things in the world has reached a mythical level. All things have no secrets to you. Your current spiritual level is level 85, God Transformation Stage. Lin's Hengren did not expect that he would be promoted 4 levels in a row today, and apart from other improvements, this newly added effect alone is quite useful to Lin's Hengren. In this way, All employees under Jiangxi Company will also gain corresponding experience as long as they are promoted after their own training. Although it is more difficult to upgrade at a higher level, such a large-scale feedback will only make the future upgrade faster. In the afternoon, Lin Zhengren and Jiang Jingxi finished the documents that needed their signatures piled up in the company today. Han Wenwen also learned a lot about secretarial work, especially the hidden work, so they all took a car back to the villa. But there was one thing that needed attention. That was the issue of the engagement ring. When Lin Zhengren left the office, he asked Han Wenwen not to wear it all the time for the next 2 days and put it away first. The little fox was puzzled at the time. Why? I don't want it, she pouted and covered her precious ring and disagreed. This is the ring that Brother Zhengren used to propose to me. I will never take it off even if you kill me, Lin Zhengren explained. The main thing is that I haven't proposed to Qing and Lily yet. If you wear the ring back, then they both know that I proposed to you, right? Won't there be no surprise? Han Wenwen blinked like a fox, feeling that this reason really couldn't be refuted. She put down her hand covering the ring. That's right. But what do you mean by the two of them? What about Sister Jiang? I've already proposed to Jingxi, promised. When? Lin Zhengren replied, it happened recently. You are so perceptive that you should have noticed that Jingxi changed her ring recently, right? Han Wenwen nodded in a daze. I did find that Sister Jiang changed her ring, and I asked her, but she used to wear a ring on her hand. I never thought about it. It turned out that it was Brother Zhengren's proposal ring. The little fox now recalled that when she asked Sister Jiang about her new ring, she smiled inexplicably. So that was the reason. Wenwen, who is always smart, also has her mistakes. Han Wenwen looked at Lin Zhengren angrily and said jealously, who could have thought of this? Who could have thought that Brother Zhengren would propose so early? I was fooled by Sister Jiang's habit, and she was full of jealousy. Why didn't Brother Zhengren propose to me first? Why wasn't Wenwen the first? Lin Zhengren hugged Han Wenwen and touched her head. Because Jingxi's ring was lost at that time, and when I was looking for her ring, I thought of making a ring for each of you. Now that it's done, it's natural to propose. So Wenwen understands why Jingxi is the first one. Han Wenwen was so angry that she opened her mouth and bit Lin Zhengren's neck with a howl, muttering, I understand, but I'm still jealous, and Brother Zhengren asked me to take off the ring, which makes me unhappy. Unless Brother Zhengren can satisfy one small request of mine, I will satisfy Brother Zhengren's request. Lin Zhengren was curious, what do you want to do again? Han Wenwen put her arms around Lin Zhengren's waist and said with a smile, it's nothing. When Wenwen is drawn in the lottery next week, I want Zhengren to not get out of bed for at least 7 hours from morning to night. Is that okay? He can't be busy with anything else during this period. Lin Zhengren looked at Han Wenwen speechlessly. Han Wenwen was afraid that Lin Zhengren would not agree, so she continued to act coquettishly and rubbed his face. Brother Zhengren, please agree this is taking off the ring. If it weren't for Brother Zhengren, I have said that I would never take it off even if I were beaten to death. I have already made a great contribution. The problem is that if that's the case, we don't have to do anything else in the day. Of course, Brother Zhengren can do it for me. She was hit on the head by Lin Zhengren before she could finish her words. The little fox felt wronged. Lin Zhengren's tone was a hint of reprimand. You've been getting more and more blunt in your words recently. Han Wenwen half lowered her head as if she had made a mistake, her fingers circling the place on his neck where she had bitten him. There's nothing to be embarrassed about doing this in front of Brother Zhengren. I'm your woman. Addicted, huh? Han Wenwen looked up at Lin Zhengren, staring at her beloved, timid and bold. I'm addicted. Since the rules were set, Brother Zhengren has sex 4 days a week, but Wenwen only has sex 1 day a week. Only 1 day. Even if you add in the occasional cheating like today, it's not a few times. Besides, how can 7 or 8 times a week be enough? I just want to be intimate with Brother Zhengren. She put her hand on Lin Zhengren's lips. Agree, just agree. Lin Zhengren was convinced by this little fox. There was no way to play straight, so he could only smile and nod. Okay, then when it's your turn next week, let's go out and get a room. We won't get out of bed from morning to night, and I won't do anything else but concentrate on accompanying you. Han Wenwen bit her lips with a smile and blushed. It's a deal, it's a deal. The little fox kissed him on the face, and finally took off the ring on her left ring finger reluctantly and put it in her pocket. After Lin Zhengren had begged everything, she put it on again. Saturday night was uneventful, and Lin Zhengren, Jiang Jingxi and Han Wenwen returned to the villa. As usual, after dinner, The family talked and laughed together and watched TV for a while, and then lay on a bed to sleep and rest. Sunday came in the blink of an eye. Today is the day when Han Wenwen officially starts live broadcasting, and it is also the countdown to the registration of Jiang Zuli's music competition. After 30 days, Lin Zhengren will have to accompany Jiang Zuli to another city to participate in the largest music selection competition in the country. Han Wenwen's live broadcast competition will be in 1.5 months later, which is almost a seamless connection. As for Xiao Heking, she knew that Lin Zhengren was busy this year, so she was not in a hurry and would register for the competition next year. At 8:30 in the morning, Han Wenwen was in her own study, sitting in front of the computer and opening the live broadcast software. Others were watching nearby. Han Wenwen clicked on the fox spirit leather case, which was a humanoid female fox, an original character. Although it was a leather case, the features on the fox spirit's face were actually based on Han Wenwen's own second dimension, so at first glance, it looked very similar to Han Wenwen herself. There was a second computer in the study, and Lin Zhengren was also sitting there accompanying Han Wenwen in a double row of live broadcasts. Han Wenwen put on her headphones and glanced at the fan barrage and asked Lin Zhengren, "Brother Zhengren, should I start the live broadcast?" "The fans are waiting." "Well, start it." Han Wenwen clicked on the live broadcast, and the fox leather case appeared on the screen. The little fox waved her hand and smiled at the fans. "Hello, everyone, it's Wenwen. I used to record videos. Today is my first day of official live broadcast. Thank you all. Thank you to the fans who came to support Wenwen's first broadcast today. Thank you to the boss of Jiu Tianying Yuan Lei Shenpu Hui for the reward of 5,000 starting coins. Thanks to the big boss of Love for the 100 starting coins. Thanks to the big boss of 20250327123911325 inches for the 108 starting coins. I bow to thank you for the above. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.